You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 57, Dimension Ex-Girlfriend.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that was Hydra all along. I am Jim Purcell.
I'm still sleeping. I'm Craig Olson.
And I'm Raven Perez.
And we are back again with a new episode of the Savage FINcast, where this episode we will be talking about Savage Dragon 223, the latest issue.
Wow. Too good.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good one.
When that cover dropped, I was really excited about this issue.
Buckle up. It's you're in for a ride, this FINcast. Is this a good issue? That's all. I'm just saying, before we even, get started, what a treat ahead.
Way to bias our viewers.
I know. Sorry, guys.
Now it's all let down from here on out. We've just hyped it up.
As we pick it apart and hate it in the end.
So, first I got to just say that I took a little trip to Pittsburgh last weekend.
Oh, yes. Uh-oh. Exciting times, I heard.
Bumped into a shady character.
The world's tallest midget.
A lot of dangerous element in Pittsburgh. You never know who you'll run into.
Yeah, so, I met you, Raven, for the first time. It was a kind of a letdown, but...
Not as cool as on TV?
I fart when I laugh.
A lot cooler.
Yeah.
No, but it's been 5 years since we've been talking Savage Dragon on the FINcast, and finally met face to face, which was kind of a cool thing. And
it was just like the movies. We were both like, backing up, looking at our smartphones, like, where is he? Where is he? And then we bumped each other and turned around.
No, what really happens? He scared the shit out of me. So we're texting or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I'm at your hotel." I was out with my wife, and I'm like, "I'll be back in a minute." And we were walking on our way to the hotel, walk inside the lobby, and I'm looking at the woman behind the counter, and out of nowhere, this dude jumps out and yells, "What'd you say, Savage Dragon or something?"
I jumped out from behind a column and yelled, "Savage Dragon!" And
I jumped like 5 feet.
Craig assumes his judo chop position.
I don't know what the hotel staff was thinking, but...
She laughed because she knew. Like, I super narked. I was like...
Hiding like a creeper.
Yeah. I told her, I was like, I'm waiting on a guest. That's all I said. And I had this, like, mysterious box with me. Could have been an assassination attempt for all she knew. She was like, okay, and just looked back into her. I'm sure she was playing, like, Peggle on her smartphone or something, just out of sight.
Jesus, Raven. What year do you think this is?
She was a retro kind of gal.
But it was good. And then the funny thing is, my wife and I had dinner reservations like 2 hours later. So we had 2 hours to kill with Raven, and we're like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And I didn't know if you drank or not, but then you're like, "Let's go get a drink." And I'm like, okay, this guy really wants to drink. He seems excited about drinking. So, all right, well, I'm down to drink anytime. So he brings us to a bar, and then I order a beer. My wife orders a cider. The waitress or the bartender goes to Raven, and he's like, "I'll have a Mountain Dew."
Nice.
I'm like, "Oh, I thought this guy wanted to drink." And then he's like, "No, I don't drink."
I recall him telling me that at some point.
But you seemed like so hyped on it.
Yeah, he really wanted that Mountain Dew.
He was like, "Let's get you guys liquored up. Where do you want to go?"
Fountain drinks are the best at bars.
Because they're free.
The dangerous element.
My wife was just like, after, she's like, "We could have just gone to a coffee shop." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I don't know."
No, I hate coffee.
Yeah. I just, it's more fun. It was a more fun atmosphere than a coffee shop,
Yeah, it's true.
There was bar and fries. We had fries. It was good. We screamed over sports TV. It was the bomb.
We spoke in Yinzer speak.
Mm-hmm. I gave him the tour of everything, you know. All those sweet Pittsburgh turns of phrases.
Raven had no idea where he was going in the city.
We rando bumped into people. I was like, Pittsburgh is real small, and like a dude on the corner turns around and is like, "Hey, Raven." I was like, "What?" Oh. Yeah, see?
And he's like, "Do you know where you're going?" Raven's like, "Yeah, just over here." The guy's like, "No, it's not over there. It's over here." And then we start walking. He's like, "No, you're going the wrong way." Sorry, Raven, not to blow up your spot.
It's all good, narc. You narked me out.
And I just assumed like all the artists in Pittsburgh got together and just hung out in a gang, like Tom Sholey and Jim Rugg and Ed Pisker, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of let down when, and even Dandy Don Simpson. I thought you guys were just rolling like a tight comics gang, but
we're just not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like when you asked, I was sort of like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. He's asking about the secret comic artist club. I dare not say anything. He'll want to see it next. How do I divert? So I've
always assumed Pittsburgh was some sort of Mad Max dystopia.
It is. That's not far from the just bridges.
Nah, it's a gorgeous city. I tell you what, I'd never been. My wife and I live in Philadelphia. It was like, I don't know, a 6-hour drive or something, but it's a real easy drive because it's all like the back country to get there. And so we decided just to go for a weekend, and it was fun. You have it's a nice city. It's clean, and it's, you can walk everywhere. It's a cool city. So if you live close enough to take the drive, I would definitely suggest going to visit Raven.
I'll
knock on his door, bring him some pizza.
I'll come out for a pizza.
He's only available between like 3 a.m. and like 9 a.m. or no, is it? No, you're working between those hours, but then you're sleeping and then you're working on your comics. So there's a small window,
right,
between maybe 4 and 5 or something like that.
Essentially, I am awake more hours of the day than asleep. So there's a good chance you'll get me. I'll be around. And I'm always down. What's funny is you say that as a joke, but I'm always down to hook up with a Savage Dragon fan. Show them a good time. Come to the Steel City. We'll talk Savage Dragon, nerd it up.
I got to say, one last thing. One of the coolest things, and you can shush me if I can't talk about it.
You can say whatever you want.
Raven shared with me the pages for a backup he's doing in 225. I think it's like a 7-page backup, which is absolutely fantastic. It plays right to your strengths, the characters that you use. I'm not going to talk about it at all because I don't want to spoil anything.
All right, we'll keep it a secret.
But your backgrounds on that, I mean, I've been staring at it and just amazed. You did an awesome job, and I'm so glad that like Eric gave you those characters to play with because it just really plays up to your strengths, and the backgrounds you put in were just amazing. And then, I thought he was just bringing these box. When he gave me the box, I thought it was just to kind of look at his pages, and then you ended up gifting me the pages, which totally dropped my jaw. My wife was like, "You look like you were gonna cry." Big sissy, no. But I was just shocked.
Dear listeners, she said it while Craig was standing there. She's like, "Are you gonna cry?" He's like, "I don't know."
She's a ball buster.
Well, were you just giving them out to homeless people if Craig hadn't shown up?
If he hadn't shown up, the next stop was the trash.
I was like, I can't
okay,
take
Wyatt.
I was like, I can't take these. I was like, I'll take one, and he was like, no, if I keep them, I'll just use them as a napkin or something.
Well, the truth is that normal comics are created with a ratio that fits perfectly on 11 by 17 paper. Of course, you can make them as big or as small as you want, but if you work on 11 by 17, you're kind of, boom, you just fall right into that, ratio that reduces nicely for normal, typical American standard comic sizes. Being a weirdo that I am, I don't work in that size. I work on letter size, 8.5 by 11, which doesn't really reduce too awesome. There's a fix you can do, You can work on less than the full 8.5 by 11, and it'll reduce right.
Or you can have really big margins.
Yeah, or bingo, or you can print on the page and just have giant, and it's huge. It ends up being like 1.5 inches at the top and bottom of empty space. It doesn't look good, right? So here are these 11 by 17 pages that I've got. Like, literally, I don't have any storage means for them. They're just sitting around. Like, I eat right where I draw, and I was joking with Craig about, like, getting chili and salsa on them. Well, it was not a joke. There have been so many times those pages have almost been destroyed already. So, yeah. And it was funny because Craig was like, oh, God. He said, I can't tell Jim. And I said, you could tell Jim. I said, because when I see Jim, I got enough. I said, I got something for Jim, too.
Nice.
Jim, you see.
You don't need to get anything from me, Raven.
You can't stop me, bro.
Oh, no.
No, really, like, just I appreciate. I had a lot of fun talking, on the FINcast. And even if that's all that ever happened, that is good enough for me. Like Craig said, we met and he was, like, trying to convey to his wife. He was like, well, we just don't really get to talk Savage Dragon. Like, it's hard to talk Savage Dragon, so you get to talk Savage Dragon with these guys. It's just a fun thing. So even if that's all it was, cool. But I can't help but think that this maybe helped put a certain unknown guy on Eric's radar to get a shot to do a backup. So that was just
I haven't been offered anything, unfortunately.
Give it time.
You are the new writer for Savage Dragon.
That's the dream.
A bold new direction. But at any rate, no, it was just a thanks. Thanks for the opportunity. It's always a lot of fun. And again, I'm an artist, so I draw every single day of my life. It's just the least I can do. It'd be like if you went to a plumber's house and he gave you a toilet. You'd be like, well, you're a plumber, so that makes sense.
Got spares.
Got them. Got shoes.
I have to say, though, I mean, really, the listeners out there, you guys are in for a treat with Raven's backup. Like, I can't wait to see it in color on 225 with the letters. I mean, it's amazing. You can tell what makes an amazing backup, too, are when an artist is a fan of the book, and you can tell. So I will give away something that's not big deal, but you managed to fit a John Day in and a Boom Pow Tacos sign. I think the only thing you didn't get in was like a Guy and Duder reference.
No, that is legend. It'll destroy the world.
Or what's the toilet paper one?
When you gotta poop.
But no, it's really awesome. I think longtime fans and anyone, but I think it's a special backup. It's really cool.
Well, thank you. It hit right in a sweet spot of just time. Normally I have, and just again, if you want a little just like behind the scenes to go with your backup page's story, there is he did sort of, say, hey, do you want to do something? And like, it was the worst like thing in the world.
You're talking about Eric.
Eric was like, hey, do you want to do something? And like, I actually was like I was finishing my color stuff because I had extra no time. So it killed me to say no, but I knew I'd do a shitty job if I said yes. And so I said no, and it like took, but I told him, I was like, later, I was like, I'll be done in just like a few months. I was like, and I'll definitely, just as soon as I'm done with this, I'm definitely good. Well, an entire year passed, right? And I wasn't going to harass him about it, but an entire year passed. And then later he's like, hey, still want to do that backup? And I was like, oh, yeah, dude, let's do it.
That's so awesome. That's awesome.
So it hit right as like the fates, like I had a week off just as he asked me to do that. So that was like just boom, like a pure week poured into those pages. So I made sure to make them sing.
Awesome. So should we get into the news?
So I can't wait to read about the new adventures of Beast Boy and Feasel.
Nice try.
That's my assumption.
It's Bubble Boy solo.
Melvin Mouse. There, said it.
I'll take us into the news because, man, this is a beefy show anyway. As if we didn't have a killer issue to talk about. We got a good show, like lots of stuff on here. So, the first news item, Savage Dragon is crossing over with Cena Grace's Nothing Lasts Forever. On April 1st, Bleeding Cool reported that Dragon will make an appearance in Cena Grace's upcoming memoir, Nothing Lasts Forever. Cena is known for drawing Lil Depressed Boy, writing Iceman, and editing The Walking Dead. He has a line of autobiographical comics that he's been publishing in recent years. And the April 1st story, the date of the announcement made us think that it was an April Fool's joke, but actually turns out it's real. You can see the preview pages. Malcolm is riding the elevator with Cena. So it's kind of cool.
For some reason, I thought that the April 1st news item was that he was going to do a backup in Savage Dragon 200 in his style. But I
don't know. I thought it was just a crossover.
I may have misread that at the time.
I believe they generically made it like a crossover.
Okay, maybe I assumed the joke was that it was a 200 backup.
It was pretty good, Malcolm.
Oh yeah.
So do you think it was an April Fool's joke at first, and then you went back and wrote it in?
It's hard to say.
It could be. I mean, honestly, like, they're just riding the elevator together for all I know, so it could be shoehorned in there, but it's neat anyway.
Yeah.
I know you got to think, like, Cena being around just Kirkman, and Kirkman's a Savage Dragon
I'm sure
fan.
He's a Walking Dead fan also.
Well, yeah. He's been known to like it, I'm sure. Talking Dead frequent guest, but no, it's just I'm sure Cena probably actually does like Savage Dragon too, just because I'm sure he's just been around all that. You can't not if you're around it. So
yeah, it's a cool, one of those cool little cameo nods. It's hard to say what it represents in the book itself, if like it's implying he's in a superhero universe, or if maybe he's just seeing things. Because I get the impression he might just be seeing things.
Yeah, that's what I get. I think it's just a silly little one-page thing.
Feels like a throwaway.
Yeah. But anyway, it's got Savage Dragon in it, and it's news. Therefore, we are obligated to report on it.
It's our duty.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't read much from this guy. I always did the Little Depressed Boy books. I could sort of see their appeal as an autobiographical thing.
I will say that I read the Savage Dragon preview, and I was like, neat, and just kept reading more pages. And it actually seemed pretty cool. So I think if you haven't read an autobiographical comic, they usually are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And this one seemed pretty good. Like, the rest of the preview pages kind of sucked me in. So I was like, yeah, maybe give it a try. I'll probably give it a shot when it comes out.
Yeah. So our next bit of news is we got solicitation for Savage Dragon 226, which is kind of surprising considering the question marks hanging over 225. I kind of thought we'd have like nothing until at least then, like no cover, no solicitation. But instead, we are moving forward, and implications are implied. So issue 226 will be a self-contained issue with Trump seemingly appealing to the main. Issue 226 will be a self-contained issue with Trump seemingly appearing as the main antagonist of the comic. Yes, that Trump, I'm afraid. So the solicitation copy reads, quote unquote, trumped, quote, end quote. When a tyrannical madman assumes command of the United States, aliens are deemed a threat to national security and targeted for elimination, and that includes Malcolm Dragon and his family. With a country turned against him, Malcolm Dragon fights as he's never fought before. Savage Dragon Comics comes with our highest possible recommendation.
A tyrannical madman assumes command of the United States.
I love it.
Oh, man.
And Trump is yelling, "Kill all aliens!"
Yeah, the cover. We actually should have put this in the news bits. The cover itself is It's got a big, big orange face, tiny hand Trump looming over Malcolm, Maxine, and the 3 kids. So, who are all being pelted by garbage from average-looking Americans.
There's an angry mob hurling debris at the family, which is hilarious because if you think about it, technically only Maxine is in any danger in that scenario.
That's true. She's also the only one who's not an alien.
Yeah, she's a dirty alien lover. That's why.
Maybe they think she's an illegal alien.
So I read some people were posting that this is an homage cover.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone remember what it's homaging? Because I think it's a Daredevil cover.
It is influenced.
Right, because it is a
homage.
Yeah.
He said he originally was going to do a more 1-to-1, but it ended up creating, because of the family, it ended up creating like awkward positioning. So he decided ultimately to just make it be influenced by that cover. I couldn't believe somebody saw it, because when you see...
Yeah, they don't look anything alike.
No, they don't.
Composition-wise.
I thought it was you, Eagle Eye.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've never read Old Daredevil.
You're always spotting the homages and references.
Yeah, not the really obscure ones.
For the listeners,
it's just
a
Daredevil reference.
It's Daredevil 96 for the listeners.
So if you look them up, you can compare them.
Yeah. Yeah, I could spot a self-reference from a mile away, not so much the outside stuff.
Jim, you mentioned the tiny hand. Hilarious.
Should be smaller. To the point where the foreshortening is like backwards.
Let's talk just a heartbeat about general reaction to this cover. Mostly good.
I think it's a little spoilery. Because, remember, next 224's cover has Maxine with the Shattering Universes. It sort of takes the suspension out of the suspense out of that when you know Maxine's probably going to survive all this.
It's self-contained. I don't know.
We should have prefaced this with a spoiler or something. I don't know.
Should we?
No, I think it's fine.
I mean, we talked about all these covers on previous episodes.
Yeah. That's fine.
I think technically it could even still be an alternate. Didn't you have a wacky theory there,
I had a wacky theory.
Let's hear it.
That after all of this reality merging shenanigans, whatever happens in the end, Malcolm and family get dumped on our Earth. Our horrible dystopian nightmare Earth.
Earth 666.
But then there's no more danger zone. Damn it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could just be it could be reality hopping adventures.
Could be. You never know. Might not even, and we all know that the covers on Savage Dragon are a lie.
Yeah, which we'll talk about later.
So there's a really good chance that Maxine could be on the cover and be dead on the interior. You don't know.
Yeah, you mean issue 223, this issue, Glum is not really crushing the Earth?
Well, that's true. It's good.
So should we get into our next segment?
Yes, it is going to be a segment, so we should get into it.
This is our new segment, the FINteresting Replies.
So first, before we even start we introduce it. Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
we got a shit ton of mail this episode, which is the most we've ever gotten. And as a result, we're going to go through all of it as a reward to all of you who participated.
We just appreciate it, though, for real. Like, I mean, it's nice doing the show anyway. And we do know that some people, we get a little bit of awareness that people enjoy it just through Facebook. But, like, it's really cool to think of people, like, taking time to participate. So... Thank you.
Absolutely.
Upwards of 11 people.
It's quality. It's quality, not quantity. These are the best.
No, it's quantity.
So, for those who may not know, the FINteresting Replies segment is a new thing we're trying out. We ask you, the listeners, for your opinion on related questions or for your suggestions on future topics. And if you want to participate in this segment, you can send any kind of an idea for a topic or whatever to savagefincast@gmail.com. And responses will be read on a future episode of the FINcast. Read and discussed where applicable. So we're actually going to get right into it. I'll take our very first writer, Mr. John Scott. The topic overall is favorite Savage Dragon crossover. John says, my favorite Dragon crossover was TMNT in issue 2, because that was my first Dragon issue. Love the podcast. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Straight to the point.
Well, you got to wonder how many people got into the series from reading the Ninja Turtles or something, because Ninja Turtles still. It's amazing to me how popular Ninja Turtles have remained.
Yeah,
since I was a kid, and
even now.
Yeah, even now. But back then, I mean, they were
at the peak.
At the peak, on cartoons every day when you got back home from school, and everybody had Ninja Turtle toys and stuff like that. So I'm just, wondering, how many people probably got into Dragon because of those crossovers.
Absolutely, I guarantee that was there's probably a million like John Scott stories out there where people jumped in because of the Turtles.
Yeah.
And in a way, doesn't it kind of add just that little shred of credibility to have a Turtles crossover in your character's history? Like Usagi Yojimbo has one.
Yeah, he's even got, isn't Usagi, they made a toy, like a Playmates toy too.
Yeah, there was, I believe Saki might have worked on the cartoon, or at least he was published through Mirage for a lot of years, so there was a lot of connection there.
My brother had the Usagi toy from the Ninja Turtles, and 5 years ago I went into the attic and stole it and gave it to my friend that is a huge Usagi fan.
That'll teach him.
He doesn't even know to this day. It's okay. He's gone through and stolen records from me.
Did it still have its ears?
And gifted me records stolen from my collection at Christmas. So I don't feel bad anyway.
That's dirty.
It is dirty.
Super dirty.
Did the figure still have its ears?
Yeah. Oh, is that what you asked? I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, the ears are like soft rubber, right? They chew right off.
I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to ask my friend who now has it. But anyway.
So moving right along.
Yep, our next letter comes from Augie. Sorry, Augie. I'm going to say Augie de Bleck Jr.
I always read his name, but never have to say it out loud.
Who apparently is a comics journalist, currently at pipelinecomics.com. Formerly of Comics CBR, right?
Yeah, and Pipeline Comics, I believe, is his own
thing.
Website / blog. And he's a real-life Savage Dragon character.
Apparently.
Made the pages.
Apparently he was in that Freak Force backup in, I want to say...
115.
The fly issue, right?
No.
115, you're right.
115, which was a weird issue to be a double-sized issue, because it wasn't really an anniversary. It's the one with the cover with everybody.
Yeah, the wraparound.
Yeah. Great issue. And Mark Englert did the Freak Force backup, which was Augie plays the character as himself trying
to reform Freak Force because he loves it so much.
And this is post-Savage world, so in the new reality, they're all fat and out of shape, and Rapture's really disgusting.
Rapture's a mess, and not Billy Bierman, the other Bierman, the bad one, Bobby Bierman, is Mighty Man at the time,
and
who's a huge murderer.
Yeah, and what's his name? Barbaric's a big fat ass.
I still have that image of Barbaric, just Porky with the crappy carnival pants on.
They were
children's show hosts.
Children's show entertainers. Yes.
Doesn't Rapture have like a big wart on her face?
Yeah, she's a real mess.
Yeah. Downhill.
So Augie's letter reads, two come to mind. Number one, the early Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Savage Dragon crossover, just for the way that one ended and the second begins, picking up the dialogue in mid-balloon so that they could spread out the word shit across two comics without anybody specifically saying it.
So awesome.
Also, the Turtles are an amazing set of characters because every artist draws them differently and they always look cool. They're the litmus test for any artist. Can an artist draw good turtles? If they can't, they might as well be dead to me. Harsh. Number two, Freak Force number 10, because I love Freak Force. No kidding, Augie. And this was their biggest crossover with Dragon. Remember Joey Finkelberry? So beloved was this issue that it is reprinted in the Savage Dragon Greatest Team Up Trade paperback. Yes, it is, I believe, along with Star and I think that backup with Ricochet and Rapture, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. Maybe that's a different book. I'm getting off track. Anyway, he says, keep up the great work. Two things. One, yes, I love Joey Finkelberry. To be honest, I've only ever read that issue of Freak Force. I'm way behind on Freak Force. I really should read.
It is a good series.
Yeah.
I wish they would come out with a trade for it or something. But
I love when Joey Finkelberry came back in issue 100, and he had basically as a Cyberface's enforcer, where he had basically murdered every Marvel and DC superhero you could think of.
Yeah. There was like arms and like Thing's arm and like Thor's hammer or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Gotta wonder where that kid's gotten up to, because you always want to see him and Zeke fight. Wait, he and Zeke did fight in that first appearance, didn't they? Man, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wiki.
I do like that Augie right after John is another Turtles Dragon crossover.
Yeah, that's funny too.
Boom.
So
now I want to say something real quick about that though. Augie, you done taught me something that I never would have gotten otherwise, because I never read the first part of the Turtles Dragon crossover, the Mirage published one.
Mm-hmm.
I've always assumed at the start of issue 2, the Turtles are playing tag with Dragon.
You're it.
Exactly. That's how I've always interpreted that page. And
are you joking?
I am not joking. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's the only way I could figure out why they were saying it so loudly and tackling Dragon.
That's awesome. How many other poor misguided souls are out there like you? It
seems like things that Ninja Teenage Turtles might do.
You know what's funny is I just never thought anything of it. I just didn't think about what they were doing or saying because I didn't read the first part either. It was like it. I was like, anyway, I just kept reading. It's funny that you thought they were playing tag.
The funny thing is now, Eric would just write it out, I guess, in Dragon, but it's more fun to break it up. I don't know if it was a point where maybe you just...
It was probably the Turtles couldn't say it in their book.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was going to say probably it had to do with keeping the Turtles' image clean.
Gotcha.
If I had to guess.
And looking up the wiki, because my memory is not the greatest, it seems like the last time we saw Joey Finkelberry was issue 132, where he was with the Vicious Circle and part of Mr. Glum's superhuman army when the aliens conquered Earth using... when Mr. Glum conquered Earth using the God Gun. So, who knows where Mr. Finkelberry is these days?
I'd like to think he's still out there watching over us.
Oh, what? I guess it wasn't in issue 100 like I thought. It appears to have been in...
What's that?
128. That backup. No, it was in 124, where Dragon finds Joey Finkelberry's handiwork.
Yep,
I guess
right.
For some reason I thought it was a 100 backup because it made sense there, but it was actually further on. Even though the story itself would have taken place around that time.
Gotcha.
Because it involved It involved the briefly reformed Liberty League.
Yep.
Right.
Can I just say one more thing too, just to tie in with the Ninja Turtle things?
Mm-hmm.
When the Ninja Turtles appeared on that cover with Savage Dragon on issue 2, I remember just my mind being blown, like, oh my God, Eric's gonna draw the Ninja Turtles, and I was just so psyched to see that, and it was just mind blowing back then. Like, you know how Augie said, you know, it's a litmus test for artists if they can draw the turtles, and I just thought, you know, that was awesome. And then when the Ninja Turtles got their own image series and Eric was doing the covers,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it was just amazing. I was like, man, I want to see like a full Ninja Turtles issue by Eric, you know. And you know, that's the closest we got was the team up with Dragon, but
Right.
it was satisfying. It was really cool.
Bittersweet on the heels of issue 222, where we were denied.
Yeah, go through that story again for the listeners. So that's the
It
anniversary.
was our last chance before having to wait to 222.
So it's 200 issues since. Is that, or what was it?
There was 2 and 22, and then he was going to nab them again for
Oh,
222.
So they appeared in issue 2, issue 22, and then 222. Gotcha.
They
And
also
so-
cameoed during Barbaric and Ricochet's wedding too.
But now, since they're sold to Viacom, is it?
Yeah,
Yep.
the rights
It's
were
too
just
difficult.
were too wonky to make it work.
Yep, just too much, legal, which is, hey, it's
Because you got to go
crappy.
through Viacom and you got to go through IDW.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it became like just way too much. Yeah, which is sad. It's a bummer, but it's all good. We got our memories.
All right. Well, memories are good. You want to go on to the next one?
This
Well,
is
it's yours. So
Okay. Marcos in New Jersey writes, "Hey guys, not sure if I'm late on this one or not, but just listen to the last podcast. I guess my favorite Dragon crossover would be Mirage Studios TMNT crossover and the Superman ones from DC. Love the show, and I'm a longtime Eric Larson fan, one of my all-time favorite creators ever." So thanks, Marcos, for writing in. Sounds pretty unanimous that, like we were saying, a lot of people maybe jumped in to Dragon with the Ninja Turtles, or at least were huge fans of the Ninja Turtles at the time.
a lot of
Yeah.
fan of two-toed green guys.
The one thing he brings up is the Superman ones from DC, and I'm not sure if he means just the Superman Dragon Metropolis, or if he also means the Chicago one, which was out of
Probably both.
Image. But that was great, though. I mean, that was really cool. It was John Bogdavine. How do you say his last name?
Bogdanov.
Bogdanov. John Bogdanov is a great artist, and I thought they picked I thought he was a super good choice to draw the Savage Dragon Superman Metropolis. It was a trade. It wasn't even.
It was an original graphic novel. It was square.
Yeah, square bound. And,
I believe Chicago is the same way.
It is.
Yep,
yeah.
they are. And it was a gorgeous issue. I think he did the art justice. I would suggest if you haven't picked it up, you give it a shot. And definitely, I mean, it goes without saying to pick up the Chicago one because it's Eric's art and good old, is Klaus Janson the inker on that? I can't remember.
I do not know.
But that's gorgeous. I actually own a page from the Savage Dragon
Really?
Superman Chicago. Yeah.
Well,
And
I
it's-
believe at the time you bought that, it was like one of the few Dragon things you could buy because
yeah,
Eric wasn't
well,
breaking
this
up
is-
his issues.
Yeah, this is, I don't know how many years ago, 12 years, 10 years ago, and
Mhm.
Eric wasn't selling his original art. So if you wanted something with Savage Dragon by Eric, pretty much the pages from Superman, Savage Dragon, Chicago are the way to go. And it's a good issue. It's the page I have. I didn't have a lot of money at the time, so I don't even think it features Dragon though. But it's got Overlord and it's got Howard, the cop,
Right.
and he's shooting at Overlord, and it's got Chris E's lettering, and
Mhm.
it's one of those pages where Chris E would do his sound effects of like the blam, 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 and he does it like 10 times. like a gun shooting or something.
Right.
And it's amazing to see on a page, and it's a beautiful page. I forget.
Inked by Al Gordon, by the way.
Oh, all right, Al Gordon. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Oh man, Al Gordon's a classic Superman artist.
Colored by Ruben Rude.
Mm-hmm. Who did the earlier Savage Dragon stuff?
Just saying, it's kind of just killer team. Alex Ross cover on that Chicago book.
Oh yeah, gorgeous.
And I think that was over Eric pencils too.
It was.
So
it definitely was.
Yeah, you can tell. It's fantastic. Like Chicago, I haven't read Metropolis, but I mean, I take your word. And of course, Bogdanov is the bomb. Like his art is great. But I can vouch for Chicago. That is rock solid.
Yeah, lots of cool Vicious Circle guys and Superman villains.
I have a copy of Metropolis. I really should read it because I do like Carl Kessel as a writer. Be curious if he gets Dragon or not, understands Dragon or not.
No, I think it works good. I think Eric had a hand in some of it too.
Well, probably. I mean,
right.
But he doesn't get a writer's credit, I think. So sometimes you wonder how much.
Right.
All right, so we
trucking.
Go ahead.
Trucking right along, yeah, lots of letters. We're switching gears a little bit. We got our other topic for the listeners who maybe didn't catch it or don't remember is we posed the topic, who would you protect? Who would you keep around? If you could, throw the plot armor on one character to where they're just not going to get the axe. Because, in Savage Dragon, nobody's really safe. Who would you protect? So, coming from JP, Killcat. Killcat is the only character in Dragon with true plot armor. He's the dirty Bruce Campbell of the Dragon universe. That is so perfect, by the way. Literally, anyone else can be destroyed, though tears may shed. Because dramatically speaking, there wouldn't really be anything to be gained from Killcat's death. He's just a lovable, dumb, dirty old douche with limited connection to anyone. He's Killcat. I'm still pulling for another Deadly Duo mini personally. Craig's selection of Powerhouse is also inspired. Still waiting for an all-Flash Mercury and Powerhouse ongoing. Riding around in the Mach 5, fighting monsters. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, JP, for that letter. Man after my own heart. I couldn't agree more on every little topic.
Can't disagree with much.
No.
Dirty Bruce Campbell.
He's the dirty. He is. Is that?
I do kind of, because obviously Killcat predates Bruce Campbell's rise to popularity, so you got to wonder who Eric is basing him on.
Yeah.
Because he does definitely has that dumb, dirty 70s gross vibe.
Lots of chest hair.
Questionable
Always
mustache.
A cheesy pickup line, never successful.
The ultimate male chauvinist.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Very Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, I don't see Eric ever killing Killcat off. I think Eric has too much fun with him.
Killcat and Kid Avenger have kind of been implied to be immortal because they, unlike everyone else, they don't age.
Right.
And be unlikely to be ever killed just because.
If you destroyed them, you would simply need to replace them. And I think that is probably a good enough reason to just keep them around.
Couple of knuckleheads. You need a couple of knuckleheads.
Yeah. Were you going to get another knucklehead from the future? Another skeezy millionaire playboy?
They just drop out of trees.
You're not. Yeah, I'll agree with JP. That was definitely rock solid plot armor.
I gotta tell you, some of my favorite moments of Savage Dragon is when he was chasing the original Dart around, and she just was having none of his advances, and he's just a freaking idiot and doesn't realize it.
Right.
The absolute best is when he's in that body cast.
Oh yeah.
And so is Justice.
Oh,
and Dart comes in and just starts having sex with Justice right next to him,
and he can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was number one. Number one with a bullet.
All right. Well, we got a lot of letters to get through, so.
All right, so we got another letter coming again about the Who Would You Protect theme. This one comes from Mike McKirk. Sorry, Mike, if I mispronounced your last name. Hey guys, the character I'd like to see more and definitely not get killed is Powerhouse. Mental fist bump, Craig.
Yes.
Always liked that guy.
Oh, I always liked you too.
Conversely, I like to see Dart gone. Bitch had it coming. Alex should go too. I don't get why you like her. Boring. Bigly. Seriously, she has the same haircut for over 25 years. Well, Mike, I would argue so is Dragon. Good to hear Craig back. I think you all have distinctive voices, and when you're not together, it is not quite the same. That being said, Nick and Zach are always welcome additions to the conversation. So far, so good. No media outrage on the sexual content of 222 as of this writing. I don't think there will be. There are a lot worse comics out there. Manga, anyone? I'll leave you with this, even though you might not get a lot of email responsive. Ha, Mike! Joke's on you. People are listening. Just keep calling out your email just like you did in this episode. P.S. I would love
SavageFINcast at gmail.com. SavageFINcast@gmail.com.
I would love it. P.S. I would love it if Raven read this out loud in his fancy, sophisticated voice.
No!
Sorry, Mike. I'm afraid I drew the number this time.
No.
That is incentive for you to keep writing.
There you go.
Yeah, his turn will come.
We'll just we'll switch it to me and then Zach, just so he'll keep writing in.
We can at least hold it off for at least 2 more times. Then we'll have an Eric interview and ask Eric to read it. He'd probably like that better.
I'll agree Powerhouse is a great character to keep around for a long, long time.
I will second that. Powerhouse, I know that the thing was not, you don't get 2 characters to protect, but it'd be hard picking between Killcat and Powerhouse.
See, I would easily pick Powerhouse over Killcat, if only because I assume Killcat's immortal already. So it's like a waste of a protection.
Oh, we don't know. Maybe Powerhouse is immortal. He's a descendant of a god, right?
He is a descendant of a god. There's no reason to think he's going to age.
But
I mean, the gods don't.
Well, that's true. At least as far as we've seen.
Right. His point with Dart, I'm conflicted. We have seen Dart a lot lately, but I don't want to see her gone. I'd like to see her kind of pushed back for a little bit. I love when superhero comics have these big bad guys that are just, they kind of appear and then you don't see them again for maybe 25, 30, 40 issues and then they come back or something like that. I don't like to see them killed, and I feel like Eric has a lot of awesome major bad guys, and he's killed a lot off. And sometimes I'm a little disappointed in that. I'd like to see like that. I guess Overlord kind of was like that for a while, but really he died, and it was like 5 different guys in the armor. But I always like seeing like a Dark Lord come back every once in a while, but not gone for good.
I do agree, and it's funny, as much as I do love Alex, I actually, between Dart, if I had to save Dart or Alex, I'd save Dart only because it'd be the more interesting choice. She's crazier.
Also, Alex's hair is dumb.
I don't think it's that bad. It never bothered me.
You wouldn't kick her out of bed, Purcell.
No
Would
comment.
you? Yeah. Oh. You put me in my place with no
I don't think she's
at all.
I like her character. I feel like she's got the best connection with Dragon. They're both cops. They've both been through a lot together. And he's kind of like, I don't know. Even we'll talk about 223, the pages in this I thought were pretty cool. I think it's just like, it's Eric's, I call Savage Dragon Eric because I hear Eric's voice in Savage Dragon, but it's Dragon's kind of connection to the original world on someone on his level, not like a kid.
Someone who can understand the
Yeah, she's been through everything with him since he's been on Earth. She's the only character.
And she's had similar experiences in that she's been with two different Chris's.
Yeah.
But the thing is about her characters, I realize, she's not got a lot of whiz-bang one-liners like Maxine or something. But at the same time, she still is just that really good girl who, for whatever reason you don't end up with, but, deep down you could be happy with if you just give it a shot, but you're a jerk. You're a blonde-loving douchebag.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I like about Alex is that she's a human character, kind of like Maxine to Malcolm. It grounds the characters, and you're like, oh, wow, like, it's not just all superpowered guys in here. And again, we'll see in this issue when she jumps into action, like, there's definitely could be consequences if she, if some giant Hulk creature lands on her or, rips her arm off or something. She's just a normal human being.
Did I ever tell you guys that the greatest thing that ever happened to Alex was becoming Battle Tank?
I sure did like that.
Yeah,
I loved that for as long as that lasted.
It was brief, but I did like that a lot.
She got her superhero moment.
She had her moment. Alex had all kinds of good moments.
Yeah, definitely.
Just gotta trucking right along.
Ripped the Lummox's throat out with her teeth.
Yeah,
that's how I remember it.
Another great moment.
And that was like in the middle of like Eric's run, what was like family friendly, like
that
for a while, and then with that issue, it just like was jarring. It was like, okay,
that issue not only had her killing the Lummox, but it also had Jennifer ripping Deathseed's head off.
Well, and it had Alex in like a tank top, like blood soaked with like her nipples popping out.
That's true.
It was an awesome end to the family era. I was like, oh.
It just was so extreme, though. It's like, we're not going to dip our toes in it. We're just diving in.
One minute Savage Dragon's busting the Candy Man. And then the next issue, Alex is in, like, soaked to her nipples in blood. It was good. It was a nice change of gears there.
So should we move on to the next one?
You get the pleasure of this one.
Good luck, Craig.
Okay, our good pal, dare I say, letter hack to the FINcast show.
Mm-hmm. Certainly not stars.
What's that?
I said we're certainly not stars.
Yeah. Soteris Gravis, good friend Soteris. He writes, FINcast crew, nice to have Craig back this episode. Almost as cool as having Dragon back in action in his own book. As for the FINteresting responses, I'd have to go with a three-way tie where, sadly, no one's having sex. Amid a plethora of awesome characters, I'd choose Fountainhead, but under one vital proviso. He'd have to undergo LASIK laser eye surgery, thus bestowing him with the ability to shoot lasers from his sexually suggestive eye socket. Next, it would be Dung, whereupon, following 10 long intervening years, culminating in his eventual death, the entire issue would be a backstory info dump commensurate with a shitload of excrement. Jesus Christ. Lastly, it would have to be John Day, where it's revealed that he's actually a long-lived Marvel Watcher-type character who gets off on watching Dragon and Malcolm scare women with their oversized genitalia. P.S. Disregard this entire letter. My real response would be Powerhouse. A chicken man that's so paranoid he feels he still needs to wear a domino mask to protect his identity will always get my vote. He's an iconic, visually striking character who's been part and parcel of this book, and he deserves pride of place in Savage Dragon. P.P.S. Hats off to this episode's non-title of Sideways Monkey Mouth. Way more classy than, say, Axe Wound.
Oh.
This letter wins. Sorry. Great. Soteris always writes in some amazing stuff.
Love it.
He will not let us forget about Fountainhead. And the major screw up of you guys thinking that lasers are shooting from his eyes.
Sploosh. Just like a laser sounds, you know?
Just like a laser sounds.
Sploosh.
Splish splash.
Let's make a whiz on the electric fence jokes, you know, like the laser right out of your penis. Idiots. Oh.
I love his sentence about dung where he references excrement in like 6 different words in that one sentence.
I like that it's even an info dump. Even an info dump. He worked the shit out of that.
Backstory info dump.
A shitload of excrement. You know what's funny about him joking that John Day would be revealed to be a Marvel Watcher style character? Is I always wondered if one day Eric was going to bust out some like insane explanation for all the John Days.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome, like, as much as that's a joke in his letter, minus the, checking out Dragon's genitalia.
Right.
I think that's awesome to be, it's almost like a glitch in the Matrix where, like, this one guy keeps appearing. He's just kind of watching and recording everything, a Watcher style. It would make perfect sense, and it would be kind of awesome to have, like, a little backstory on that, or,
He's the writer of the in-universe Savage Dragon comic.
It's funny because it doesn't need that. I mean, it's okay to be a throwaway gag, but it just would be funny if, like, he busted that out as, like, a plot twist one issue.
Yeah. Yep.
Also,
Craig... Where, like, Malcolm wakes up and he's surrounded by an infinite number of John Days.
Just like...
We need you to save the world.
You are
it would be a cool little Easter egg type thing to longtime fans to finally, like, have a little story or something, even like a little 3-page story in the back of the book. Just a funny throwaway thing, but cool stuff.
Craig, before we move on, I just have to ask, as the originator of Sideways Monkey Mouth, do you feel that it is more classy than Axe Wound?
I know I've heard Sideways Monkey Mouth somewhere before, so I can't claim that I originated that. But I don't even know where I got that from. It's just always stuck in my head. It's like one of those things, the first time you hear it, you're like, what the fuck?
Right, yeah. I had never heard it before you said it.
But then when you think about it, it's kind of hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I think it's a little classier than Axe Wound.
It is. I'll agree with that. Jim?
Or Gash.
I'm not sure I'd use the word class.
Stupid.
You both groaned in unison.
Too good. It's too choice.
Okay.
Top-notch podcasting here. All right, from Tony M. How's it going, boys? Long-time reader here who just recently caught up on all your FINcasts. Congratulations, Tony. Yep, there are listeners out here in Netland and wanted to contribute to the show. Your question of the month, is that what it's called? No, but that's okay. We're workshopping that title. It had me thinking that Roughneck should be untouchable as a villain. Awesome visual and hasn't really been fleshed out, but is some kind of backstory. Otherwise, I'll see him as a wasted character. As for main characters that I don't want to see get the axe wound, I'd have to say Maxine. Man after my own heart here. Awesome character that is really giving life to the book via her lively disposition. Her attitude towards sex is refreshing for a female character, although in issue 222 she seems to have gone just a tad sex-crazed. Couple notes. If this email makes it on the show, feel free to mention I post as Neutron Bob. Shoutouts to Jim on SavageDragon.com. So if you folks make it to the forum, say hey to Neutron Bob. And a contest prize idea. Can you do a Savage Dragon mug as a prize with the Thunderhead art by Raven? By the way, Raven, you sound like a younger Woody Harrelson, LOL.
Yes.
How's it going, Mr. Peterson? Keep up the good work. Maybe you guys can have a rotating guest position or live Q&A or call-in for other Fin addicts from time to time. Maybe we have to be initiated in some way beforehand. Show a dragon tattoo or third nipple or something. A lot of times when listening, I felt like joining the round table discussion. Thank you,
Now,
Tony.
Craig.
What's that?
Sorry, you finished, Raven. I thought you were.
I was just saying thank you, Tony, for your letter.
Yeah, Craig, you've suggested some sort of call-in scenario.
Yeah, it's something we can look at in the future, just like a voicemail line, so people could call in and, put a little, instead of writing a letter, just send us a voicemail or something. I don't know if that's feasible, but it's something we can look into in the future.
Because I thought about possibly creating a Discord server, but I'm not sure how to record from it. I haven't really found a
what is that? I don't even know.
Discord is a online browser-based audio chat program that a lot of people use for gaming.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you create a room and people can just drop into it if you invite them.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and then everyone just talks over each other.
I got a super low jack solution that I heard on another podcast.
Low jacket for me.
People would email their audio files to a dedicated email, and they would pick them out and play them on the show.
That is the most lo-fi.
But it would work.
I think there's a...
So yeah, people... Actually, that's something that's actually really easy to do.
Yep.
So if you guys just want to record audio and send it to us through a Dropbox link or even just attaching it to an email, I can splice it in. So that's something you can do if you want to.
Yeah, in the meantime, look up options. I think there is a way, like a free voicemail service where you can get a free number and someone can call in and leave a voicemail question, but I'm not sure.
Leave it so I can delete it.
The other thing which I've always wanted to do, if you get what you were talking about, what was it called? Discord, sir? What was it? I'm a
Discord. Yeah,
I'm
Discord.
a tech idiot, but would be I would love one day to get 3 or 4 of the old Brotherhood of the Fin guys on the podcast and have a little round table discussion, see who's still reading the book, who left the book, when, why, and just talk about the old days. Because for the listener, maybe someone that's new to the comic, for maybe the first 100 issues or so, the Brotherhood of the Fin was this online group of guys that would meet at cons, and they were just huge fans of Savage Dragon. And I know there's a bunch of them that still collect, and we still talk to once in a while, but there's a bunch that have left since. And I always thought that would be a good episode, just to kind of talk about their experiences back then.
I agree. I would love to hear you do that. You were part of that, weren't you?
No, not really. I mean, I was in the beginning of Savage Dragon, and then I kind of left when I went to college for 4 years, and that's when a lot of that stuff happened. When I came back, I conversed a lot with them on the forums. Back then, the forums were not part of the Image. He had his own forum on the Dragon page.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those guys are on there, and I knew a lot of them, but I wasn't one of those guys that was meeting up at cons. And I mean, they had a group of 15 guys that would meet up at cons and stuff, and there was probably 15 core guys, and then people would join in. They had their own website. And a bunch still collect, but there's also a bunch that don't. So I'd love to get a mix of who does and who doesn't, and when they left and why. And
what would make that even better is for the guys who dropped off. I bet it's funny just to think of it, but I bet they don't even realize that Brotherhood of the Fin officially made the book.
Yeah.
The name of the cult.
Right.
Yep. So that would just imagine that you were part of this group and then you just fell off and then you come back and it's hey, by the way, the group you were in is part of the book now. What would you even think?
Sue them.
Hopefully not, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I would love to have that show. If you're out there, if you were part of the Brotherhood of the Fin and you would like to be a part of that, we would love to arrange it. Actually, Craig has mentioned this before. We would love to have that show happen. So, email us, savagefincast@gmail.com. And yeah, we would love to put something together, arrange a date, and record a show with you guys, just you guys doing your thing.
Yeah, not us. We'll just
We'll be the moderators.
Yeah, I mean, we can be in there just the tiniest of bit, but I mean, let you guys shine. I do want to say one thing before we switch it over to the next letter. Tony mentions prize. I'll announce more on the prize later because that's something else. But you're gonna like the new idea. But moving right along.
All right, next letter from John Turner in Liverpool, UK. Hi guys, if you'd have to ask who I could keep safe for a few years, my immediate response would have been Mako. Uh-oh. In the comic now, I would have to say, save neighbor Craig. If I was Eric, I would have him making periodic 3-panel appearances in the book, losing one body part appendage each time, thanks to the Dragon Kids. Along the way, he could sport a cable-stylistic cybernetic eye to go along with the arm, a kryptonite heart, and maybe a full Marauder-style tank tracks on the bottom half of his body instead of legs. Eventually, he would be a full robot body with a human brain. By this stage, he will be, of course, still having a sunny disposition, fully intact. Great show as always, guys.
That's a great suggestion. That would be amazing. And John's in Liverpool. We should have had Zach read this.
Would have been more authentic for him. I have to say, I do love the idea of the kids being responsible for Craig just being completely changed. And can you kind of imagine if it went the other way? Like the kids got their first villain before they could even talk.
What, Neighbor Craig?
Yeah, Neighbor Craig swore vengeance on them for destroying his body.
I think he's too sunny.
He is.
That.
I like the
take it in stride, or treads, as it were.
I like John's suggestion much better.
I like him having a kryptonite heart, though. Kryptonite man. or Metallo, I suppose.
I would have never thought Neighbor Craig in a million years would be the guy to save, but amazing. Great letter. I think that would be a great gag.
Yeah, I never saw him getting a vote from anyone either, but yes.
Neighbor Craig and Melvin Belko can go to war.
All right, let's move on because we've got a lot of show left to go.
Yes.
Dakota Bell writes in, "Hey guys, first time sending y'all an email, sending in a response to last week's episode. Who would I spare from the Wrath of Larson? Well, my favorite bunch of supporting characters have always been Freak Force. Seeing them all together again in the new Mighty Man one-shot was awesome, even if it was brief. But I can only save one, and I don't think it's any of the obvious picks. Super Patriot? Nah. Barbaric? Nope. Mighty Man? No, sir. Ricochet? Dart? Rapture? Too late for them, unfortunately. I choose Hortus. Hortus is my favorite character in the book. Love her design. I'm a sucker for the reptile-themed characters. Oddly adorable despite all the spikes, and she's just as fun whenever she pops up. Oh, and she's just fun whenever she pops up. Dated a Ninja Turtle, saved the world from the cosmic cops on accident, took care of Angel when Dragon was away, married a robot. Barring Universo eating the original Imageverse, I've figured Hortus would always be safe from Eric's spontaneous murder urges. Hell, when Rex mentioned they were moving to Washington, I was assuming Eric was going to retire that bizarre family like he did with Alex. And then Rex got murked by Glum. Ever since, I've feared for the safety of Hortus, and Dixie too. I hope they never share Rex's fate. Would love to see them more often too. I mean, hey, Dixie's not that much older than Dragon's triplets. Who's up for a superpowered playdate? Great episode as usual, by the way. Keep up the awesome work. Great letter.
I feel like Dixie's one of the oldest. I think she's older than Mighty Man.
Really?
Betsy?
Betsy. I think she's older than Betsy. maybe.
I think Dixie might be older than Betsy. Please feel free to correct us. But yeah, I think it feels like she is. I think she's younger, though. She's definitely younger. That's Malcolm them. Never mind, I was about to say something stupid. But yeah, Dixie is, I think at least she'd be, as Dakota suggests, Dixie'd be in their, range.
Right.
It makes sense.
And she's got powers because she's half Dimension X alien, half other alien, half human.
Right.
You know, Horridus is half human, half alien.
Yes. No. Yes.
That's like her origin.
Yes.
It's kind of funny. We've never really that's never been explored.
Like the alien race.
Yeah, we've never really seen them. I don't think.
You never know when they're going to show up later, but I think you're right. I don't think they've ever shown up again.
Right. I do like that she uses the term when she said Eric's spontaneous murder urges.
Right.
You need to make that a FINcast title. Spontaneous murder urges. FINcast episode, whatever.
I do have to say that I didn't see anybody choosing Horridus, because the funny thing is as the letter suggests, when you think of Horridus, I kind of lump her in there with Kill Cat. As just she's survived the axe so long that I do kind of think of her as safe. But now that this letter mentions it, you're right. Rex got killed. That was her husband, so there's really no reason. Man, it's going to be sad when Horridus dies.
Yeah.
She's a simpleton,
Well,
I don't know. That's the thing. Is that she always was until she married Rex, and ever since she seems to have matured significantly. Every time we see her, she seems more on top of everything. Like in this latest Mighty Man, she definitely seems more on the ball than she ever did previously.
Yeah. And we haven't seen that much of Dixie either. I'd like to see now, because I didn't even realize how old she was. It's hard to keep track of all that, and especially when the character doesn't appear much. But you're right. She is kind of an older kid now, and so she should.
I was legitimately surprised that she wasn't in the Horridus spot in Mighty Man.
Oh yeah, so for the listeners, we haven't talked about Mighty Man yet, but
we'll be talking about it in a later.
But it's
episode.
a return. Spoiler, but not really because the issue's been out. But it's a return of Freak Force, and so we've seen a bunch of replacements of characters, and I get what you're saying. That would have made sense.
Yeah,
but she's a little young too yet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so's Betsy. So,
but she's a full-grown man in Mighty Man mode. So,
still though, if we do see more Freak Force, it would be really awesome to see Betsy and Dixie interact.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so should we get to the last question?
Good letter, though. Thank you very much, great. Dakota. Lots to chew on there. Here goes our very last letter. Sorry, folks. This was just a milestone letter writing episode. So if you've loved it, thank you. If you've hated it, don't worry. This is pretty rare. But our last topic,
hopefully
topic.
Not rare.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Please.
Well, we'll probably, if we get this number of letters again in the future, we'll probably pare it down significantly.
Yeah, we'll be a little more choosy, but we just had to celebrate all this, all these.
To be honest, I really do enjoy reading the letters. People bring up a lot of points that we didn't think of or didn't see. Okay. So I always enjoy reading other people's viewpoints. So please keep writing in. If we don't use your letter, maybe on one episode we might save it for another, or at least we can chat about it on the Eric Larson Facebook board or whatever, or on the forums or something. But yeah, keep letting us know you're listening, and we welcome your feedback. Even if we don't read it, we might be able to use some of the information that you give us. Mm-hmm. Again, really just enjoy hearing from everybody.
Yeah, you might even, like Craig suggested, you might even have an insight or something that none of us considered. So even if we don't read your full insight, we might even
we'll just steal your idea.
Yeah. That wasn't what I was suggesting, but still, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So I'll take it away here. Our final letter actually goes the extra mile, suggests a new topic from Doug Zolondek. Hey guys, since I've caught up with the podcast, I thought it was time to send the FINteresting idea. What are your 3 favorite dragon covers and your favorite variant cover?
Scooch.
Thanks for the podcast. It's come a long way. Gets better all the time. Love the interactions between the 2 or 3 of you. Like Craig said in episode 51, I too yell at my iPod when you can't remember names. Take it easy. Can't wait for the next FINcast. Doug.
Wow.
It sounds like Christopher Walken.
Yeah, man, what a guest appearance.
That's great.
Blew our yearly budget.
We had to call the big guns.
Scooch.
Oh, Lord.
I didn't even hear anything of what you read because I was just listening to the accent.
I was listening for all the errors. All I could hear with them.
It's great.
Wow. Wow.
So, favorite Savage Dragon covers. Who wants to go first?
And favorite 3.
Favorite variant. Oh, favorite 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jim,
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I'll go first because I have them listed out here. Number 3, issue 123, which is the one where Dragon is hit the wall and slid down it, and there's blood.
Yes.
And the color palette's like super subdued.
Yes. That is a
I really
great
like
visual.
it its suggestion of impact and injury. I think it's really good.
I remember when the solicitation for that came out, and I was like, "That's amazing." The wall all like crumbled, like it just the inking and how he does that. It's just it's visually amazing. Mm-hmm. Good choice.
Agreed.
Number 2. Sorry, Raven. One more.
Just agreed. I just said agreed.
Number 2, 215, with Malcolm facing off against Dart, crashing through a wall of babies.
Mm-hmm.
That's a more recent one. That was great too, and I remember our kind of, trying to think of what this could mean in the comic. Just a million.
And of course, my number 1, my very first issue of Savage Dragon, issue number 90.
All right.
90.
Incredibly striking cover.
Yes.
Grabbed me right off the rack.
As a good cover should.
Made me a fan.
I wish I'd thought to do something sentimental like that. Good job.
Yeah, it's solid black except for Frank, Dragon, and Alex's gravestone.
That was a killer cover.
Nice.
Really like the inverse inks for like the dragon portrait in the corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really
like the negative.
The negative, yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, that's you're talking about for the listener who might not have him from the when Eric used to do like the kind of the 70s type logo, the Image Comics group, and it had the little circle with dragon in it on right next to the title. That is pretty cool. I didn't realize that until you just said that now that it had it like that. But that's great because it's just black and white with just the characters in color.
Right.
Great cover. Great picks.
Super eye-catching. Yeah, great choices on every one of those. I feel dumb that I didn't think to like put a nostalgic pick in there.
I unfortunately don't really have a variant cover off the top of my head. So I'll work on that while you guys do yours.
Okay.
I kind of cheated. I lumped a variant in as one of my 3, so I'm going to cheat like that. Do you want me to go?
Go for it.
You
Go.
You got it. Taking off the top, 171, Enter Thunderhead. Well, of course I like Thunderhead, but on this cover you've got just black and white illustrations of Thunderhead and Malcolm brawling, and it's like a brawl. They're like just in the most dynamic poses with just debris all around them, and the only color on the cover is just red. It's black, awesome. White, and red all over, and baby, it's awesome. This is a great cover.
I remember just like the bottom of Malcolm's sneakers, like the sole, like how detailed. It's just it's awesome, and just like it just how it flows like Thunderhead. It's so dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
He's like leaping right out at you. And the cool thing about Thunderhead is when you first see this guy, he looks like the most evil villain, like the way he looks. And he turns out to be like, Malcolm's, brother, kind of like stepbrother. And he's just a cool, chill guy now. But that's what's so great about the character. He looks like an evil badass. And he's a good guy now, But just a great cover.
It is immediately like you just see that cover and it's just like, I don't know, just the composition like of that cover, the way they're fighting is just super striking. Even if it didn't have just the super limited like one color palette of red, it's still just killer composition. So that's 171 if you want to.
I want to jump in and just say for the listener, if a quick way to look at all these covers is to go to savagedragon.com to the funny book section, and you can just look at these as we talk. We'll try to explain them all, and many of you probably will remember them. Just you won't have to look it up, but this is really image heavy what we're talking about. So
yeah, if you want to take advantage of that, that's a killer resource, and you should. It's got the variants, so if you didn't snag a variant, you can even see. But my second choice is 185, the courtroom sketch cover.
Nice.
Yep, I chose it because of just the good, like the theme represents the issue so well where, Dragon's on trial. And so to have a courtroom sketch be the cover of the trial issue was just, it was a smart choice. And again, the composition of this cover is super striking. You've just got like the title of the issue is The Verdict, and you've just got like you've just got the jury, their heads on the left, and they're all like in a blue, and it's just offset with just this pencil sketch of Dragon just standing there looking at them. Killer composition, killer color scheme. It's a winner, and thematically works with the issue. So, it's good stuff. And then my very last choice, and again, I'm cheating because I'm using a variant as my third cover. But the Wanted, Savage Dragon 128, the painted Wanted cover by J.G. Jones, who the cool thing about that, when Wanted hit, it was just so popular and everybody was flipping out because it was just like, I don't know, everyone I knew was flipping out about it. And like it had those J.G. Jones covers in that style, like
the black bar on the top and bottom.
Right. Yeah. They were like meant to evoke Wanted posters, I think I read.
Oh, really?
But this even says like Wanted. It looks, here's what's genius about it, is it just fits right in with those Wanted covers.
Yeah, seamlessly. It almost to me looked like the way it is almost like a widescreen kind of TV view. Like, it's got the black bars on top and bottom, but you're right. It fits the Wanted series. You could mix it in with there and it looked like it's just another issue of Wanted. It doesn't look like an issue of Savage Dragon. No Savage Dragon logo.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like an issue of Wanted. Like it has the Wanted logo giant, and then it just says Savage Dragon all small and gray. And then it's just got this J.G. Jones painting, who was the artist of Wanted. And he's just got this painting of Dragon. So it's a badass image of Dragon anyway. But then there's the context of the Wanted villains actually crossed over into that issue. And so it was just, I don't know, together it was super appropriate. I don't know. Like I said, it just tied right in there. So those are my three choices.
Amazing. Good stuff.
Thank you.
I have to go with my first one, which I've said this before. Issue 21 blows my socks off for a cover. If you look at something on the stands and you see issue 21, which is way back, I don't even remember the year, but it's got to be around 94, 95 maybe. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's when it's Dragon holding up Overlord's bloodied mask, right? Mm-hmm. Like covering kind of the Dragon logo, and it's got the speed lines kind of emanating off the mask, and Dragon almost looks like Two-Face because half his body's charred. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing visual, and it's like, man, I got to read this. it just looks like Dragon finally triumphant, and it's like, where does Savage Dragon go from here? You know, obviously he's got he's killed his major foe, and it's just a great visual. I mean, your eyes are drawn straight to the Overlord mask.
Absolutely.
Another favorite of mine, and just to be honest with everyone, my favorites change like month to month, but as of right now, another favorite of mine is issue 110, Danger in Dimension X, which is just visually striking. It's Dragon and family grabbing onto like a chunk of rock, and they're flying through some kind of void in Dimension X, and all the characters are kind of like colored yellow. It's super visually striking, and they're getting chased by Death Seed. And I remember just when that cover came out, and I was just like, wow, that's a pretty damn cool looking cover. I think even like the dragon in the logo is kind of colored yellow too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But just a great cover, visually dynamic. You know, they're just flying right out at you, and it makes you again want to pick up the book.
And bonus, word balloon on the cover.
Yeah.
Which was a weird for a while there. Comics just didn't do that. That was a taboo.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of always cool when you see it, because it's like oddly become a thing that, wasn't done for a long time. Like Angel's just dropping like, paragraph of like, not a paragraph, but like a couple of sentences of dialogue, just cracking a joke right on the cover. That's good. I like it.
The other more recent issue I chose was kind of like your 171 in composition in a way, but it was 201, which was Malcolm versus Dart, which I think Eric just poured it all into it. And this is something that's a little harder to explain. You kind of need to go and look at issue 201 if you remember it, but it's like hyper detailed. Mm-hmm. And Dart's kicking Malcolm in the face, and they're kind of like falling towards you, the reader. Like the viewpoint is like kind of like the reader looking up, and it looks like these two characters are just going to crash on top of you. Mm-hmm. Just amazing. Dart's hair is just like kind of flying. Malcolm's, one of his hands are coming right at you, and it's like hyper detailed and just amazing looking. Yeah, just a great cover. I really enjoy. Like I said, my favorite covers will probably change next month and month to month. But thinking about it off the top of my head, those were pretty good covers for me. I probably could name like 10 right now, but I don't want to steal anything from listeners that might have a favorite cover, so I'm going to leave it at that. Right. But I know there's so many out there, and I know there's going to be a lot of good comments on this.
Oh, hopefully. Yeah. Just a reminder, please, do send us your 3 favorite Dragon covers,
and don't just tell us what the covers are. Tell us why they're your favorite. That's I really want to hear why people like these their favorite covers. Even if you don't have 3, just even 1, I don't care. But
especially even if you had like Jim, like a tale behind it, like a reason like that stands out in your mind. That's the kind of thing that this is all about, like a chance for you to interact with the show. And yeah, we would love to hear from you and love to read your letter, as you saw, read it on the show. So thanks again for everybody who wrote in.
Wait, I just want to talk about my variant cover. You're screwing me over now.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I did cheat.
Aww.
What's your variant?
All right, I'll be quick.
No, take
I
your
would
time.
say either. I don't know if this counts as a variant. Does issue 100's second printing count as a variant?
Yeah.
Okay. So issue 100, the second printing. I love that cover. It's like Dragon in his cop uniform, kind of jumping out of the side of the issue with Angel and Jennifer kind of jumping with him. I don't know if many people remember it because it wasn't kind of widely. I don't know how many were published of the second printing, but I think they're kind of rare. But it's a great cover if you haven't seen it, and I don't know if it's.
I've never seen this.
I don't think it's on SavageDragon.com.
You can Google it. It's not. Yeah. Oh man, I'd never seen this, dude. That's a good cover.
Yeah. So it's the second printing of 100, and I like it better than the original cover.
I'll agree with that.
So anyway, sorry, Raven. You can go back to
No, dude.
closing this out.
Let's just say for a minute, like, look at Angel's pose on that cover.
Yeah, it's great. She's just leaping out.
Like Spider-Man.
Yeah, I love it.
It's great, dude. And just the way the text, like, flows. Yeah, that's better than the first print edition.
I think so.
Cool.
So
Well, awesome, man. Good pick. I somehow had... Well, you know, I got issue 100 when it first came out.
Mhm.
So I didn't even realize there was a reprint.
Yep.
Man, it's something else to get. Well, okay, back to where we were. Thanks, everybody. Thanks again. Thanks so much for all your responses. Super appreciated.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. And
You help us fill time.
well, we love hearing from you too, and we appreciate it. It's fun just to talk with Jim and Craig. It's even more fun when we can get other people involved. So thanks so much. Savage FINcast at gmail.com. What are your 3 favorite dragon covers and your favorite variant cover? Please use savagedragon.com as a resource under the funny books section. It's a super handy tool for that.
Unfortunately, it is looking a bit incomplete. Like the issue 100 variant isn't there.
You can also go to the Savage Dragon wiki.
The wiki will have, I believe, all of them,
Okay.
but it doesn't have handy thumbnails.
And you can
though.
link to the wiki from savagedragon.com at the top now. So
That's true.
and our podcast.
And our podcast. That was a surprise to discover.
We've been doing it a little bit, so we kind of not, you know, we're not a flash in the pan. Finally, we're established.
Yeah, I guess our plans to discontinue should need to be put on the shelf for another 5 or 10 years.
Hang up those plans to hang it up. So we're going to be changing it up for 2017.
Okay.
Previously, we had chosen a single letter, and we would read that single letter, and there was a winner. This time,
Right.
we're going to go ahead with our FINteresting responses, where we, you know, pose the question, we discuss it on the show, then we get your responses, read them on the air, and we're going to just sort of choose a favorite, and for whatever reason, we'll choose the winner. And this year for 2017, I'm going to be doing a image. I'll be debuting it soon on dragonfan.net.
You should have gave away your original art.
Well, you know, there's more months than there are pages of that, so I had
Anyway.
I had to come but I had to come up with something. So this year is going to be sort of an Image 25th anniversary / Savage Dragon themed piece. And
Okay.
just, you know, I'm going to try to give folks a little bit more options than T-shirt. Of course, if you like T-shirts, yes, you can still get one. But, you know, there's different things we can do.
Mouse pad.
With that same image, yeah. Cell phone cover, mouse pad, whatever you want to slap that image on, like a mug, you know, that stuff can be done.
Okay.
Yeah, we can basically...
Would you just use one of those websites
That's all it is.
and then ship it, just have it shipped out as a gift?
And just ship it as a gift, yep. So it's easy enough. You just design the one image, and then I let the winner choose how the image is applied. So it'll work as a shirt, it'll work as a phone cover. You want it on a mug, whatever. You choose, you're the winner. It's your choice.
I want it on a Jughead hat.
Trucker hat.
Oh my gosh. All right. Those are going to be, what's sad is I can't even say those are going to make it. They're already here. The Jughead hat is already here. But no, that's it. That's the change. That's the announcement. So I'll be debuting that image soon. Image 25th related Savage Dragon prize this time. And again, please write in. We'll be choosing winners. And I guess that wraps up the reader interaction, or the listener interaction. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Meat and potatoes time.
Oh, meat and potatoes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably going to be shorter than that previous.
Guys, this is some killer meat and potatoes, this issue.
Yes.
Oh, what an issue!
Did you like it?
Okay.
No, lukewarm.
Hold on. I gotta pick it up.
So how about that? You know, the intro to this issue with kind of Lorella dropping the bomb on Dragon. She was kind of a bitch to him.
Yeah, I couldn't help shake the opinion this was really trying to deep six any romantic interest they might have had together.
I agree.
So basically, they're packing up. She's reaching menopause, and she can't make any more kids without putting her life in danger. And they've got 163 Krylons, and they're moving to France.
Going to France.
I like when she's like, when Dragon's like, I didn't get to say goodbye, and and she's like, no need to get soppy or sentimental.
Yeah,
You
really.
provide raw material, nothing more. Well, Jesus, Lorella, check like yourself, man.
Lorella was Krull's mother, correct?
Nope.
No.
She was not.
Nope.
But she raised him.
Lorella raised the son that was taken from the womb, the egg.
Right, Krull.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
so
Krull.
you're right. Yeah.
You're right. My bad. Yeah. I got my names wrong. Yep, you were right. My bad. I was trying to take you to school and got schooled myself. Congratulations.
Okay,
you played yourself.
I wasn't sure if she was the actual mother, but I guess it makes sense that she's not.
No.
But yeah, she's definitely Miss Scientist.
Cold-blooded. And I would have thought there would have been more Krillians than that.
Well, it did. Well, with the genetic engineering, it does seem like it was limited to the number of eggs she carried.
Right.
Before going menopausal, so actually that number is probably higher than it should be.
One can only assume that this is Trump related.
Yeah.
They're losing funding. That's why they're leaving.
So,
makes
just
sense.
on Krull, his mother was Gita.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, because she was the two scientists, Wex and Reiko. They were like, oh, it's Gita's sacrifice. Oh.
Right. She died during sex, and they rescued the. Which actually, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here real quick. Do you know how implied resilient Angel's baby was?
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't the other Krylon babies that all those women who died, wouldn't theirs have been just as resilient? Maybe because they were super early in development, they weren't as strong.
Well,
since Angels would have been later in development.
He killed his partners and then disposed of the bodies.
Well, okay.
So one might assume that when the bodies were disposed of,
he took care of that little problem.
They were gotten, because you remember that's what he tells Wex and Reiko. He's like, get rid of the body, and they're like, well, this happened so many times before, but this time they
maybe he ate them. Well, he ate Dark Dragon's brain, so he was a cannibal already.
Possibly. But not to get not to button that up, but this first page already. You know what? I guess I'll just say this about this issue. Didn't it just feel like a lot of shit happened?
Yeah,
clean up.
Just a lot of shit happened.
Well, yes. One of my favorite kind of issue in Savage Dragon was when we're all over the place with different characters. I love when he gets into that. It means that his plots are really moving forward, and I love when he's in the middle of plots, when they're not beginning, they're not ending, but right in the middle. When everybody's heading towards something. So every 1 or 2 pages, it's a different scene, and I think that's when Eric's at his best. And I think an issue like this really kind of shines because you're seeing a lot of different people interact.
I'll second that. I do think that is when this book is at its best, because I don't think other books juggle a big cast as well as he juggles his cast.
Yeah.
He's able to just knock plot points out left and right.
Correct.
I wonder, before we jump off of the Lorella train here, you guys care to guess? You think we'll see these babies? You think they're going to be going off planet? You want to play speculation a little?
We'll definitely be seeing them, I got to say. Maybe not for a long time, but there's no way they're just going to be forgotten.
Yeah, I'm going to need 12, 14, 15 years.
Well,
Yeah.
I got a loaded question then. Here's why I threw that out there. We know, as we well know, Lorella wants a chosen one.
That's right. She did kind of imply that a couple of times.
She implied it multiple times. So
she's trying to restore her, like, the status quo of her race, so that is kind of important
to have a chosen one. So it's kind of interesting.
Well, there are 3 kicking around.
Yeah, there's no shortage of chosen one material.
Maybe it's going to be like Invincible when she comes back, later on with a horde of, Krylon warriors to come steal a chosen one or something, or force one of them. You never know.
To be fair, she doesn't have the advantage of accelerated aging.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. So maybe in 10 years, 15 years. Well, I guess that'd be more in 10 years because they're just babies now.
Well, she does have that machine that takes away chosen one powers. Maybe she can reverse engineer it to grant.
Well,
them.
it was suggested that she could, because she was like sort of indicating that she was going to make a chosen one, and her and Dragon had that little fight about you don't need a chosen one.
Right.
And so it is kind of suggested in the book that Lorella can make a chosen one if she wants.
Look, Lorella, you can change your culture. I mean, just look. You're not peeing in a jar anymore in public.
I do think this was a smart writing by Eric. It's a way to kind of get Lorella. I mean, this part of the story really doesn't have anywhere to go until the kids are old enough.
Yep.
So it's a good way to get them out of the picture, advance other stories until he's ready to tell their story.
Lorella can be a supervillain
or whatever. But I mean, I just think it's a good device. I mean, you can't keep kind of going back to Lorella and being like, all right, they're still in the hospital and she's still making babies, or Plus, it's got to go somewhere.
He's not in prison anymore, so it is a little weirder to think of Dragon swinging by to, drop the kids off at her pool.
Yeah.
Well, that was a meaty first page.
Yeah.
So we turn...
And it only goes up from here.
We see everyone's least favorite character. We flip the page.
I think Jim gets offended when you say it. Jim likes Smasher.
I like Smasher. I don't know why I like Smasher, but I always have. I think because she's really kind of bad at being a superhero. Because she doesn't want to be.
I will say...
She kind of just...
I'm sorry, Jim. Continue.
No. Interject.
All I will say is here's what's really funny and weird. Her role in the book now is kind of good.
Comic relief?
She's that woman out of time bit's really working for me.
I won't disagree. That does make her slightly more interesting.
It makes her a lot more interesting.
She's Captain America.
Yeah.
Patriotic, blonde, super fit, woman out of time.
Probably a Hydra agent in disguise.
Oh, God.
Well, it's just funny because I found myself liking her more since she came out of, Glum's test tube than I ever liked her before. And it is entirely because she's in this interesting position and she doesn't fit well with Maxine and everyone else. And I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. I'm actually kind of enjoying Smasher moments. So.
Yeah, and she's almost the same age as her daughter, like we talked about last episode. So there's a weird dynamic there where they're kind of almost more like sisters.
Yeah, which is, again, it's interesting. Like, it's funny.
Which we know Maxine's into.
I'm into it, too. I got to say, the funny thing, that's, again... that moment, just that Maxine moment, Smasher is so much more interesting, like, in the role she's in. Probably more interesting than she's ever been in the book.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's so funny just taking her off the shelf and then bringing her back at her exact same age. It's funny the second lease on life this character's gotten with me, at least. I hated Smasher. I don't know. I'm kind of super interested to see what happens to her now.
And you got to remember, we're closer to, how do I even explain this? Time travel shit. we, as readers, experienced Smasher more than this Smasher has experienced, because this Smasher's from even further back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, you're right. It's crazy. Like, it's funny how...
It's actually almost possible that the alternate Savage World, we actually experienced more Savage World Jennifer than we did original universe Jennifer.
Yes, actually.
Issue-wise.
Yeah, that is funny.
Right. It's just crazy. I don't know. It's funny. I don't know. I mean, like, I guess I heard you guys kind of agreeing with me, and Jim's always liked her, but Craig, you're kind of agreeing with me too that, like, she's just so much more interesting now?
Yeah, I mean, we're only a couple of issues in, but it's a real interesting dynamic. You know, what's going to happen?
I want to see her fumble with an iPod.
What's going to happen with her and Dragon's relationship? What's her relationship going to be like with her daughter? What role is she going to play now if she's not Dragon's wife/girlfriend? You know, it's all very interesting. Is she going to jump on a team? Is she going to join, you know, that Freak Force team or
Team Maxine?
Oh,
who
would
knows?
she jump on that team?
Is she going to find a new love interest, you know?
I know you guys are going to laugh. I'm sorry, I got to take it there. But you know the whole Alex, Jennifer, Dragon love triangle?
Yeah.
You know the obvious solution, right? Team Maxine.
Both? Is it both?
Both is the answer. Can't we do both? Just saying. I'm just saying.
I think we've been there, done that.
I don't think Alex is into that.
I don't think Alex is.
I think she hates Jennifer.
I would too. Because she's not an interesting woman out of time to Alex. She's that dumb.
Well, think about think about it from Alex's point of view. Alex is, you know, older now, and here comes Jennifer out of some test tube, still 28 years old or whatever.
Still perfect.
She's still Dragon's idealized version of Jennifer.
Still all perky.
It is the ultimate in cruel jokes, isn't it? For like Jennifer, like poor Alex is the punchline of the Savage Dragon universe, just because, again, here comes Jennifer, perfect, perky. Oh my God! No, it's good stuff. It is good stuff.
So, how about Good Morning, Mary Sunshine?
That is
Maxine's words to Dragon as she's getting a free mustache ride.
I love the pluh.
Malcolm's
super breath.
Pluh.
Just the sound. Pluh. And the cartoon mouth. Oh, that's funny, dude.
Yeah, definitely a pretty graphic page here. But good stuff. It's funny now. You know, it's just crazy to me now that Eric's just like, he just, you know, as we saw last issue, he just doesn't need to hide anything anymore.
Doesn't need to hide it, and it's good too, because it's just like, you know, at this point, like the one, like our reader wrote in, it's like, you know, why hold yourself to a different standard?
Yeah.
You can see what Maxine has on display in this page. You can see, like,
she doesn't shave.
Yeah. All natural. You can see it on TV. I'm just saying, almost, like, I don't know. It's
no different than like an HBO Game of Thrones series, honestly. I mean, so I don't see why I should have a problem with it in a comic. It's just as violent and just as sexual in nature as a Game of Thrones type or Westworld or whatever type.
It's cool.
Fantasy TV show.
It's cool. I don't think there's been a big pushback, and I hope that trend continues, because it would be weird for there to be a pushback later. But
right.
Yeah, this is, I think, extra good just because it's played for jokes. Like the punchline of her being sexually frustrated. That's good. That's funny.
Right. And we see more of that as it goes on.
Yeah.
But so we get Glum, and Glum is still distraught over Angel, and I think he's pretty much obsessed with getting her back in some form.
Those conniving cunts.
His quote unquote angel was killed, so he needs to find an alternate angel. that will love him for the little red alien he is.
Mm-hmm.
So Raven and I got talking about this on chat the other day. There's a couple of things that basically he was wondering if like Glum, if he merges the universe, if like all these alternate Glums would like merge together and you get like a good Glum and like a bad Glum. But I basically told him that if I recall correctly, there's only one Dimension X, and it's connected to all the other realities. So there's only one Glum.
Ah.
Is that not a good... Jim said that? My mind blew. I was like, what? You're right.
Yeah, maybe that is right.
I mean, if you time travel, there's future and past Dimension X's, so you can get stuff like Glum getting killed by Kerr. But in your basically like in your present, there's only ever the one Dimension X, and that's why the Dark Lords stash all their shit there, because there's only it's a one-stop shop to stash all your test tube Jennifers.
Right. Good point.
So
Going to be real interesting to see how this shakes out.
And how do you really merge all realities? I mean, you always have realities diverging, and I don't know. How does that work? It hurts my mind. Sometimes I'm a little worried about that. Like, I hate time travel and alternate reality stories sometimes because they get too crazy and you can find holes in them too often. So hopefully he pulls it off. I don't know what it will.
Well, that right there is a hole if it's not dealt with.
Me and
if
it's funny you should mention that, Craig. Me and Jim were like chatting it up about this one. And that's something I told him. I said, it'd be funny, or not funny, but I said, you got to wonder if this isn't a storyline to put alternate dimensions like on the shelf.
Yeah.
Like just write them out of the book.
Yeah. I don't know. You can go. I know there was a lot of backlash after like issue 75 when a lot of readers felt cheated when like all the characters died, and then they kind of showed all back up in the book in the Savage World universe.
Yep.
And so I don't know. Sometimes you have a lot invested in the story, and an alternate, merging of realities changes a lot of things, and you feel a little bit cheated. Sometimes I feel that way too. It's like, it's almost like a do-over. So I hope we don't. I don't know. We'll see. I'll reserve judgment. I mean, Eric, I've always enjoyed the book, so. Again, we'll just see how it goes.
Super interesting, the can of worms being opened here, though.
Well, my only thought is that if there's only one Glum, that means only one Glum went to one dimension and met one angel, which means there can only ever be one Glum's angel.
Yeah.
Sad, right?
So merging realities wouldn't help him.
But he is a man gone mad, so it's not like he's going to think about that. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I mean, here's the thing. We were like... Here's a guy who's so in love and distraught that his idea is to merge all realities. I mean, goddamn.
And he might accidentally get his angel.
Yeah, what an overcompensation. So, it's...
I'm more concerned about why Dark Lord has all this technology. I mean, yeah, I know he can jump between realities, but the idea that he has the technology to merge realities.
We're jumping ahead like crazy, but is super awesome point. We learn in this issue stuff on Dark Lord that we never knew. It was never made clear that he was that powerful. I don't think. As far as I was concerned, it felt like in the book he was always just a dimension traveler, and he helped his other selves to conquer worlds.
And he had a telepathic connection to all his duplicates. And that was his main thing, is he could communicate with all these different realities.
Right. But in this issue, Glum kind of spells it out like he has powers like way above beyond what we had ever thought. Like, I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's exciting.
Yeah, I always thought Dark Lord was kind of a big mystery. Like, we never knew the whole story. So it wasn't too jarring to me. Like, I felt like it all makes sense.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, it doesn't seem out of place because he is that powerful that I totally accepted it.
We get another full kind of page of Dragon and Alex talking about what's going to happen with them. I do like the scene. It's just another one of kind of Eric drawing Chicago in the background. So they're like on the beach along, I guess, Lake Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a cool little scene, especially the backgrounds. I just enjoy that. Something you don't. Go ahead.
I kind of wonder if Chicago it actually looks like that from like a vantage point.
Yeah, it does look something like that. Have you ever been, or?
I've never been to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, it's right on the water, right on the lake there, and they do have a beach line. And it looks, I mean, maybe the city doesn't look exactly like that, but
right.
The beach, and you can walk and see the city from like that viewpoint.
Okay.
Before we jump too much into this, I just want to give shout-outs to the previous page. My favorite sound effect, the last panel, bathroom.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say dump.
There's a sound effect, bathroom.
Bathroom. It's good. Okay, back to this is I like the composition here. You don't see a lot of Chicago from this side in the book.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for these two guys.
Yeah.
That's what the conversation is about, is just how unlikely poor Alex has been burnt so much. I don't know. I'm rooting for him.
Right.
You say, why do you like Alex? She's the Maxine of Dragon. Like for Savage Dragon, like Old Man Dragon, she was the Maxine. So, I was always rooting for her to, seal the deal.
Yep. Speaking of Maxine, we get that next scene where she meets Jennifer.
Or she flirts.
She grabs, like,
very overtly,
hugs her and goes squishy, squishy.
Gold. Comedy gold.
She's like, Maxine is so blunt. She has no filter. It's great. And did you notice she's wearing a 69 shirt?
Yes, dude. I love the ultimate mother-daughter combo. That's funny, dude.
I love how, like, Maxine's got no filter, and it's so awkward for Angel. And it's like, oh, yeah.
Angel? Jennifer's the one who's, like, not handling it well.
And that was a great Jennifer moment, right? Because Jennifer's such an uptight loser, but here it plays because she's the straight man to Maxine's. It's funny. It's good.
Right.
She just goes out, and I suppose Angel spilled the beans about our threesome and foursome. Like, why would you say that?
And then shows her the baby. Imagine Jennifer learning about her grandchild in that way.
Well, she learned from Angel in the previous scene, but...
Right. Meeting her grandchild in that way. Right.
Like, don't let him get a hold of your shirt.
I never thought about it until this panel, but it is kind of funny if you think about it. The kids do inherit their mother's eyes.
Yeah.
Malcolm has brown eyes.
Yep.
So that's kind of just a funny little touch.
And then we also get the next scene with Marcia Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talking with Dragon at a cafe, and he kind of confirms that they're somewhat like have the same mother.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, yeah, so Rapture is the alternate Rapture is her mother, and
there's a very straightforward way to describe that. They have the same genetic mother.
But her and Kevin Gorlick, Thunderhead are really our half brother and sister for real.
Yep.
Right.
And she meets him, and I love Skullface and Thunderhead. I'm sorry. His character is just amazing because I love whenever people meet him. You would think in the real world, people's first reaction would be like disgust, like, oh my God, he's hideous, But everybody loves him and everyone thinks he's so handsome.
I'm not going to lie. In real life, he'd probably be horrifying, like on a fundamental level, primeval. But in drawings, it works a lot better, a lot more dapper.
I think it's good to have a variety of reactions. I like that she thinks he looks cool, when she meets him for the first time, because I mean he is a cool visual.
Yeah, definitely.
So it makes sense that she would think he looks cool. Like I always said, like if Thunderhead hooked up, it was kind of indicated that he was having trouble with girls or having trouble holding his job because of his looks. But
Right.
it was like, dude, there's got to be somewhere where, you know, like if he was a bouncer at a club, they would fucking love his ass because he just looks so badass.
Yeah, but then you get there's always been like a subtext of like racism against freaks in the Savage Dragon
Right,
world.
that's true.
So there's that working against you too. It's not just how you look; it's also being a superhuman. That everyone, basically, the vicious circle ruined it for everybody.
Oh, right. Yep.
I love this page. It gave me a little chuckle. There's like the second to last panel is Thunderhead giving a hug to Marsha, and he's like, "You're lovelier than Malcolm described," and she's like, "This is the best day ever." And then the last panel on the page is just no words. It's just Malcolm looking on in approval.
Man, I love my job. Bringing people together.
I also thought that was funny. Just no.
I hope all of reality doesn't shatter while I'm standing here.
Doesn't say a word, just stares on. This is some good family reunion.
And speaking of family reunions, you get the next scene where Angel and Jennifer are kind of in Malcolm's apartment with all the kids, and the kids are just playing. What the hell is Maxine doing on the couch?
What do you think Maxine's doing?
Like, what? And then, like, the first panel is really obvious, and then you can see it in the second panel. Like,
I love that as if you didn't know in panel 1, there it was even better in panel 2.
I'm getting really worried about Maxine. I think there's something wrong with her.
Poor girl.
Yes.
She's,
Like superhuman wise, like magic wise, like something like has happened.
you know,
That's she's being driven crazy by some outside
here's
force.
the thing, though. I was like, it's so dorky am I. I was driving and thinking about it. All right. If anybody ever had any kind of like question about like her behavior or whatever, like, oh, isn't she too much? Like, you got to think what's cool about Maxine is that she is a normal person, right? So
Yeah.
imagine all of a sudden you're this normal person and you're hooked up with just surrounded by supermodels
Right.
who are
okay.
all sexually available to you pretty much, apparently. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think it's that unrealistic to think of her as being that way.
So you think she's been overstimulated?
Yeah, I mean, imagine it's like she was the hot dog on the stick friend back in high school, and now all of a sudden she's like surrounded by these sexy people that she has access to all the time. I don't know. It's like when I learned David Duchovny had a sex addiction. I was like, of course he does. He's David Duchovny. Sure. I'm sure he does. But I don't know. I don't think Maxine's predicament here. At first I was with you, Jim. I was like, oh no.
All right. You know what? I can actually accept that explanation. It actually makes some sense.
I was with you though. I was like, oh no, like, what's the setup here? Like, is she gonna be like possessed by the fiend or something, like the sex fiend or something?
The sex fiend. That'd be a good name.
I said, what's going to be happening here? But then I thought about it more, and I was like, you know, is it really that unbelievable to think? I don't know. That was my thought. That's my thoughts on that.
I like how the kids are ripping the teddy bear apart.
Gotta learn early.
If Zach was here, he'd say, Amy's evil little shite.
So we cut back to the scene where Malcolm and Thunderhead and Marsha are all talking, and she's filling them in about the new Freak Force, which we'll talk about that Mighty Man issue on another FINcast. But really cool to see Freak Force kind of getting back together and Marsha taking over the Rapture role.
Tied right into the book too. I love that, like, you know, or Mighty Man did its thing, and then like they're talking about it here in Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How cool is there's a panel for the listener on this page where they're talking at the cafe and all of a sudden this laser blast hits the building. You see a car flying. You see a guy's body go flying. Very, very cool image.
Damn it, another day in Chicago.
Of course, they jump into action. But
I like Marsha's outfit in terms of the fact that she can just throw a shirt on top of it and it looks like yoga.
Yeah, very cool.
It's like the best.
Agreed. It's funny because Larson was giving practical costumes hell, but that is as practical as it gets.
Well, I don't know until you see her
bike shorts and
until you see the massive wedgie on her backside. But
well, yeah. If it need.
Actually, that's a weird coloring thing. Did she take her pants off?
Yeah, that's funny. I just mentioned that.
Holy shit, she did just take her pants. Okay.
Oh, but you know what? On the splash page, they're off too.
They are. So they were removed at some point between these last two panels.
I kind of like the pants.
I kind of prefer the pants now. I don't know why she's not wearing the pants.
You know me. Go for the wedgie.
Okay.
Gotta have 2 pants, 1 wedgie. I think it needs said that is some killer dialogue where they talk about Rapture being a hooker name.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, stripper
or
name.
Stripper name? Yeah. Well, no, he says hooker name.
He says hooker name, but I'd say it's more of a stripper name.
It could be both.
I guess it's about the same thing.
It could be both.
Small distinction, I suppose.
Rapture. I think it could double. No, it's good stuff, though.
I like the conversation that Alex and Dragon are having when it cuts back and he's like trying shirts on, and it's like you never really thought about it. Like when he was huge, like all he could wear was like football jerseys or like specially made shirts.
It
and
is
now
funny.
he can finally buy regular shirts.
Finally, I can finally go to the men's section.
And I like how like Alex kind of brings up the point. Like to us, he looks super scrawny, but he's really pretty well built dude still. You know, he's just not, super disproportionate like he used to be.
And a hilarious moment that popped into my mind when I read this panel is I know Jim likes wrestling. Probably we have some wrestling fans out there. Craig, do you know the wrestler Mankind?
Yes.
So Mankind looks dinky compared to other wrestlers. In
Yes.
real life, he is a mountain of a man.
Sure.
And so when I was reading this, I was like, yep, it's the Mankind effect.
That's why you got to put birds to show perspective, to show scale. Birds on everything. Birds show scale.
I like it.
God.
In art.
I like it. I like this dialogue.
How about that splash page where
Oh my
it's
God.
all of them fighting? The coloring job again. I love the contrast of the lightning powers to like the red sky, and it just
Yes.
draws your eyes to the different corners of the page. And one thing I gotta laugh, and it's a great comic book convention, and it looks really good, but when you stop and think about it, you kind of laugh about it. Is that you've got all these like Dimension X characters flying in spaceships and like crazy technology, and then they all have like spears with like stone arrowheads tied to them.
Sure.
I didn't even think about it until you said
It looks awesome. It's a great visual, but when you think about it, you're like, cavemen in space.
Space barbarians. Some of them have loincloths. That one dude has pants.
That one? Oh dear. Look at the guy that Jennifer is punching.
Oh,
Jim said, "Oh dear."
oh dear. I did not even notice that, dude.
For a listener, you gotta look at the splash page. I'm not gonna describe it.
Yeah, let that be a little finger quote surprise for them.
You said finger quote.
Something
I
you
don't know, that's
might.
funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. Good eye, Jim. Way to go, Eagle Eye. This is a great splash, though, man.
Tim got quiet.
This is a great splash page. I mean,
Which one? The double?
Just the
'Cause we have
double,
two
yeah.
back to back, right?
Oh, well, that one's good too. Just still just praising that one last time before we move.
Yeah. Great.
Oh my God, killer! And to see, just again, we talk about the way Larson paces the book, but just to have the it's jumping between all the characters, and then boom, they're all on one splash page, and it brings it all together.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful comic telling. Anyway, moving right along.
The other splash page.
Meanwhile, in Dimension X,
Glum kind of heading towards Dark Lord's lair is a great splash page. You'll love the kind of half torso of that alien, and then I don't know, all the tech and stuff.
It's really cool stuff going on, like that giant robot all destroyed on the lower end of the page.
Yeah, that weird eyeball type thing that's on the low part of the page.
Eyeball, huh?
Whatever.
It's like an organ connected by
you didn't think it was a testicle?
Could be.
Alien testicle.
Giant testicle right there. No, it's good. This is a killer. Anytime you get Dimension X, sign me up, man. I gotta ask you though. It was noted that I was not more critical, so I'm gonna be critical. Where in this is the layer? What in this is the layer? Is it that thing Glum is right directly in front of? Is it a?
I think it's all that techno stuff on the right hand side of the page.
So the layer is the entirety of that?
Yes, that's.
Yeah, okay. And I think what we're looking at here is all the dead people who tried to break in.
Okay.
Or the defense systems, either or.
Yeah, either or. Who got repelled? Either those who got repelled by the defense systems or the defense systems themselves.
Okay. Yeah, that was the only thing. Is when I envisioned a Forbidden Fortress, I kind of thought it would be shown more as a fortress. It seems like sort of the fortress is more off-panel on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the goal...
It does seem like there might have been a second half of this that didn't get drawn.
I don't know. I think the goal here was just to show all the debris of past attackers or the defense systems.
I will just say that I hope at some point we, unless the idea is that it is always just too big to even show on one page, but it would be kind of awesome to see the fortress at a distance.
Yeah, I agree.
That was it. That's my lone niggle to pick.
I like the battle that's going on back on Earth, and we kind of see kind of a squabble between Dragon and Malcolm when he's like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "What does it look like I'm doing?" It says, "It looks like you're fighting the ground game." It basically tells him you got to get up in the air and take out those ships.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen that before in an issue where they kind of just. Almost like Dragon chastising him. He's kind of teaching him a lesson, and Malcolm's kind of learning from Dragon. I kind of like that exchange.
Very cool moment. Loved it. Of course, he sort of promised that that would be the role of Dragon, to be sort of a mentor character.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see that come to fruition here.
I love Malcolm flying through the air with bloodied fists.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Speaking about killer visuals, I think Marcia looking cooler on the previous page than Rapture ever looked.
Oh, yeah, with the hand kind of outstretched with, all the bolts coming off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff.
And
get awesome. No, I was just going to say this next page. Awesome.
Inside Dark Lord's lair.
Yes.
Yes, it's so cool. All the screens and monitors and the coloring. It's just, I love those purples and blues.
Mm-hmm. All the Jennifers.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I think some of those are Raptures too, the ones with the dark hair.
Really? I don't know. I just see Jennifer, but
maybe it's just shading.
I think it's just Jennifer.
Because it kind of looks like they got dark hair with the white tuff in the front. The one right next to the first Jennifer.
I see what you see. I kind of see that. Although the rest of them appear to be blonde. No, I think you're right, Jim. I think there are a few. I'm super zooming in. I think there are some Raptures.
Maybe. We'll see.
Ooh, but you're right, Craig. The visuals just you instantly like have this unique.
It's like
visual.
Technology, the cool colors of like technology kind of. It's just great way to color things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm skipping ahead. I'll save it. I'll save it until we get back. But
Okay.
go back to the fight on Earth again. Just brutal fight. I loved Smasher just punching that guy's face off. Basically, it's just goes to show you her power, how strong she is.
And again, it's kind of like, isn't that just kind of cooler almost?
Yeah.
Than like Smasher in the past? I don't know. Smasher's growing on me, guys. What the hell? It's weird.
I mean, didn't she kick Thor's ass like that? I mean,
She didn't punch
kill
his
him,
damn
but-
eye out.
I don't know.
It's kind of cool.
I gotta say, go ahead. Sorry.
Or I was just gonna say, I like Mighty Man showing up too.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen in a while besides that one shot, but in the Pages of Dragon. And I gotta say, as this issue wraps up, it wraps up in a gorgeous way on this fight. I mean, we're getting to the point where you just see more and more of these villains from Dimension X, and they look hopelessly outnumbered. They're ravaged. Our heroes are destroyed. Angel's just been beaten down. She's got basically no clothes left, but she's just holding her head, kind of just, you can tell she's just destroyed. And Jennifer's just yelling, there's too many, basically Alex seems kind of useless. She can't do much without a gun or anything like that. And, Malcolm
desperately needs.
Yeah, and Malcolm's just over his head. He can't take them all on. And then we also get the scene where Thunderhead is kind of running up to Maxine, and all of a sudden you see like the walls are crashing in on her. So
I know.
what a great way to end the issue. Like, how are they going to get out of this? They are, but what's going to happen? How does this? And also, we didn't discuss the fact that Thunderhead was like, yeah, I'm wearing a new suit. Sorry, can't help you guys. Peace out.
Right.
Jerk.
Well, I will say this. This fight brings everyone together that matters. And Mighty Man, who I'm pretty sure won't have a huge role in the next couple issues.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see.
Yeah.
But you've got Dragon, Malcolm, Alex, Jennifer, Angel, even Thunderhead and Maxine. Oh, and Marsha.
Yeah,
Even
everyone's
Marsha.
affected. It's
So I imagine this is going to be ground zero of whatever
I
happens
also
next.
love that the last panel of that fight with the debris coming down on Maxine ties visually right into the cover of 224.
True.
yeah.
In a sense, because we sort of interpreted that as like shattering glass, but in a way it could be like crumbling debris too.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff.
Good way to end it. I mean, I need to know what happens now,
I know, dude.
And it just brings us to that last page where, Glum is fumbling through all the tech. And I love, this is what I wanted to say before, and I held my tongue, but I love whenever, like, Larson draws a lot of tech, he always draws, like, cables on the floor, like, connecting to things. Like, he just has a way of doing that to make you kind of, like, see it's, like, all these different power sources that are connected. It's fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. The art on this issue, 10 out of 10. Like, this was firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, just a lot of fun this issue. And this last page, like, oh, Glum's going to merge all these multiple universes now. Let's see how this goes. And it's like, there's just so much going on. Amazing that he could have like 5 different scenes all connect towards the end or whatever, 3 different scenes, 4 different scenes.
Even it's funny, even just the impact of one panel of Glum talking about like, Dark Lord's celestial engineering and all that stuff merging and, nudging and twisting the earths and stuff. it's funny because it's just such like a throwaway detail, and yet it's like got ramifications. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So cool. This was a great episode. Issue. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah, this is going to be a great storyline. I think, I'm really looking forward to the next 2 issues to see how this resolves itself. But, bravo. Good stuff.
I'm possibly too hyped.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. Jim, where are you feeling? Where's your level?
I'm probably more interested in next issue. This one's good setup, but I'm more interested in the payoff.
I feel you.
Overall, I mean, it's a great issue, good fight scene. Like I said, all the characters come together that we know and we love.
Good stuff.
Just really looking forward to what happens next.
Yep.
And I hope it's real bad for everyone. Changes everything forever.
I'm chewing my nails off in anticipation, man. I'm so scared. Everybody could potentially be on the chopping block.
So what'd you guys think of the Carl Cosmic backup story?
No one jumps up.
It was interesting. What did you think of it, Craig?
I don't know. I couldn't really understand it. I'd hate to say. I mean, maybe you guys can enlighten me. I'm seeing Carl.
What do you?
I'm thinking he's kind of lost, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm an idiot. So maybe you guys should just tell me so I don't make a fool of myself for not understanding what's going on. But my guess was he's lost, and I don't know. I'm not sure.
That was my interpretation as well. Is that he does not know where he is. And all this farmland all looks the same.
Yes.
And so what he's trying to do is he's flying in directions looking for landmarks, can't find anything, so he decides to fly higher to get a better look at things, but instead finds cloud cover and then runs out of air.
I am glad that you explained that, because I actually didn't know why Carl flew so high. I gathered that he flew too high and ran out of air and then passed out and landed. But as dumb as it sounds, I didn't get it that he was lost. I was just like, why is he flying from the left to right at the end of the... I just completely, I dummied up on this, whole... I'm a nincompoop. I didn't get it.
I think Eric said he drew this while on the plane. So I'm guessing he looked out his window and all he saw was farmland for miles, and imagined if you were a flying superhero, you would be freaking lost because everything looks the same, like Jim said. And then it made sense when you said he flies way up, but then his cloud cover, so he gets pissed off and he loses oxygen. It crashes back down and still can't find his way around. So that makes sense to me. It took a little bit of help from friends, but...
Well, I get it now, and now that I get it, it's actually pretty clever. I'll admit, I didn't quite get it. I like Carl's visual.
Have we seen Carl before?
Yeah. He was in, what was he in?
I can't tell you what he was in, but he beat up the monster that turned out to be a baby. And he was like, oh, I'm just a little baby. And Carl's like, uh-oh, and flies off. Because he beat up a baby, essentially.
Okay.
So Carl's played for laughs, anyway.
Oh, he was in the Herculean, when it was re-released as a 48-page comic. I think he was in that.
Okay. I might need to pull out my copy of that.
Maybe not.
I don't think it was Next Issue Project. I think you're right. He wasn't Next Issue Project, and he wasn't Giant Size Kung Fu Bible Story, so it must have been Herculean.
I think it was Herculean, because Kung Fu Bible Stories had the old house. That was Larson's contribution to Kung Fu Bible Stories. So it was Herculean, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think we're right.
Although
Kung Fu Bible Stories was definitely the house. That was the Scooby-Doo. Because if you remember, that was like, for so long, it was like, oh, what's the Scooby-Doo mansion? And so I remember when Kung Fu Bible Stories hit, that was the big deal. It was like, oh, we finally got to see the Scooby-Doo issue. So,
it was Herculean. I'm looking it up now. It came out once as Image 2-in-1 with a Chris E story and a Herculean story, but then years later he republished the Herculean story in color, I believe, and added a bunch of stuff from like the Pop Gun series, I think, and Herculean.
Okay.
So,
yeah, Carl Cosmic's not on the wiki. So.
Hit a hamburger for a head and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's in like the Dragon universe, honestly, but
Carl's kind of a jokes character, so I mean, I wouldn't imagine. I don't mean to poo-poo on Carl Cosmic. I actually, like I said, really like his visual and would like to see more. But I'm a dumb guy. I thought Fountainhead was pissing lasers out of his eye, so I didn't understand.
Pissing lasers out of his eye.
So I didn't quite get that Carl was lost.
You remember, even Herculean was it was a 24-hour kind of joke in a way comic, and he ended up becoming a member of the SOS years later. Eric put him in the comic, so I wouldn't put it. Yeah, he died.
I thought Herculean died at the end of that.
Yeah,
story.
but he ended up being in Savage Dragon. I don't know if it's an alternate universe or.
Let me see if he's got a list.
Yeah, he does.
I would like to see Carl show up. I know that sounds funny, but
I wouldn't put it past Eric. He was in 165, Herculean, in issue 165 as SOS member.
Huh. I guess I do remember seeing him.
He's got a cool visual, and he can fly and clearly is strong enough to pass out, fall to Earth, and get right back out of the crater. So, it'd be cool to see Carl show up in the main pages. I'm okay with that. Cooler still if like everyone else was rendered normal style and like Carl was just rendered the way he is here. Just clean. Yeah. Clean and flat.
Just like real thin pencils.
Yeah, just real thin, no hatching. So killer issue, huh? How about that? My God.
So should we talk about the next episode?
Think that we shall. So, on the next episode, Mighty Man One-Shot Review. 7-year-old Betty Bradford has inherited the mantle of the world's mightiest man. Now she trains to take on the role of the world's greatest superhero and faces her biggest challenge ever. And that's that.
Nice. I gotta go piss. I gotta go piss lasers now. This is a long episode.
This was meat and potatoes.
I gotta pee so bad.
Meat and potatoes.
But I'm gonna tough it out. Sorry. For the listener, I'm here for you. I'm doing the pee-pee dance while we speak.
This was the origin of Fountainhead. He was a podcaster.
Waited too long.
Good episode. I don't know how long this is going on now. Maybe 2 hours.
Clock says 2.5.
All right, listeners. So hopefully, you can listen to us in parts. Save it for your whole week commute. But I enjoy. There was a lot to go through. I'm glad we went through it all. I'm glad we read the letters. It was really interesting to talk about people's responses. This issue was amazing. One of my favorite podcasts that we've done, probably just because of all the content.
Yeah.
But had a good time.
You know what we never talked about? The cover to 223.
The cover. When
we talked about the issue, we never talked about the
cover. I feel like we talked about it in previous FINcasts.
I just wanted to bring up that when this cover was solicited, I assumed because of events that were going on at the time that Malcolm would have been going to find Angel in Dimension X. Mm-hmm. Hence why they used this design. But since Angel and Jennifer returned to Earth safely last issue, it's just kind of a weird cover now. Doesn't really represent the contents except for a few brief scenes in Dimension X with.
But I think it kind of does all right, right? I mean, it's not saying it's not on Earth, so he's fighting he's like holding Angel maybe while fighting it also works as like here's a scene from Earth in the background.
Yeah, I guess it's just that Angel's still in her alternate Angel costume, and that's like 2 issues gone now. I don't know. It's a great cover. I love the cover. I just thought that when we saw it, there'd be more to it in terms of like cover content synergy.
Well, and it's a throwback to Savage Dragon Trade Volume 9, Worlds at War, right? Is that what it was?
Yes. Yeah, it was Dark Lord on the cover and Angel and Jennifer and Dragon on the cover.
Yeah, which I think is great. I mean, it's a cool little callback for the fans of the series. But yeah, I think like Raven said, not all. Some of the covers are a little misleading, but I kind of like that. I don't like it to give away everything, but I think it works.
And there's that alternate cover for 223.
Right.
The Jock cover that was an April Fool's Day gone reality.
Right. It was first in a brand new direction with Scott Snyder and Jock.
Right.
Amazing.
One of those names is excellent.
Oh.
I love
Jock is great. Jock's real good.
Very cool. Well,
but that underbite.
Craig's eyeballs are swimming, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
We got to get him out of here.
Sorry, Craig.
We got to get him out of here.
Had to get us at 2 hours and 30 minutes exactly, Craig. So
I just got a bottle I'm peeing in as I talk right now. Hold on.
So once again, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure to send us those emails at savagefincast@gmail.com. I've been Jim Purcell.
I'm peeing my pants. Craig Olson.
And we will see you next time.
All right, no more recording.